I think we're good. I didn't have my mic thing set up right. I need to pull up the YouTube chat, but let me freeze this. I was gonna have it track me, but if I go down to pick up my charger, it's gonna get all wonky. All right. Okay. So give me 1 second. Gotta set up. Some stuff over here. All right. I think we're good. Okay. So I just want to go over a few things for fantasy distraction stuff. I don't really like having this in the shot. My drink. Okay. Make this track me again. All right. So basically, the plan is this wasn't the original plan, but the plan that I've decided to go with for fantasy distractions going into March is I'm going to take a little break from uploading videos on the channel for now. What we will be doing, I'm just freezing my camera. What we will be doing is taking March off. We should be returning in April. I'm just not sure if we're going to return like early April or like late April. That I haven't quite figured out yet. But basically the idea is because the original plan was to have stuff scheduled and ready to go from the beginning of the year all the way through to May. My birthday is on May 19th, so the idea was to go all the way to May 19th, and then once May 19th came, then we would take a pretty long break, and I wasn't really sure where we would go from there, only because the fact that I have to go back to like a real job soon, and I want to focus a little bit more on like gaming content and things like that. I wasn't really sure if I was going to continue to pursue fantasy distractions like that, at least not at the moment. Like those stories are going to still be told, and these stories will always be something that I work on and release or do different things like that. Well, my birthday is on May 19th, but I was also planning to have like our last fantasy distraction for a while be May 19th. And then we were going to take like a break. But I'm actually just going to take all of March off, which I've mentioned a little bit on stream, just so I can focus on like gaming content, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, stuff like that. So that's just kind of like the plan now. It wasn't the original plan. Like I said, the original plan was to have content from the beginning of the year all the way through to May. that I was going to schedule ahead of time so I didn't have to worry about it while I was doing the gaming stuff. But what ended up happening was just like the channel itself is not doing like as well as I would like um to start the new year. It had good moments and bad moments, and the streams honestly have been doing better than the actual videos themselves. The only way the videos do well is if I like hunt people down and ask them to comment and ask them to like view it and stuff like that. And it's like I don't mind putting in that work, but at the same time, like I want some results if I'm not doing that. If that makes sense. Like me doing that should just be like a bonus. It shouldn't be the only way we get results, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is if I go to YouTube right now and go to our channel, right? So you can tell the difference, right? So the Marcus story is a good example. So the Marcus story I didn't promote at all. Like not even a little bit. I didn't share it on anything. I maybe I shared it on Threads on Instagram. That might have been like the only place that I shared it, right? 11 views. The Morska story I did share. 17 views. So okay, like not many more views, but more views. The Secromancy story, because that was the first story that well, it's technically the second story with Acoustia. I promoted it like pretty hard because it was like a newer voice actor, and I wanted it to do well for her, that one I promoted like super hardcore and it got 30 views, which clearly more views when I'm promoting it or pushing it or whatever, but still not like a lot of views. Like it's a lot more work for me to squeeze out like 13 more views. Like if I was promoting super hard and we were getting like 1,000 views or even 500 views per video or even 200 views, to be honest, um I wouldn't mind like doing all the promoting and stuff like that and getting it out there. But there is no matter what tags I put on it, no matter what methods I use as far as SEO and stuff like that goes to get these videos pushed out there and in front of people that have not seen our content before, it just does not seem to work without me running ads. The only way is to run ads, but that costs money, brings in the wrong type of subscribers and viewers anyway. It's not even like a good way to grow the channel to begin with. So, I'd rather not run ads, but I would like there to be like some signs of life when I post a video with what should be the correct tags, um, without me having to go crazy and promote it like a madman. Because I go crazy and promote it like a madman, I get people to comment, I get all this stuff, and like the cap is 30 views. Like that's what it feels like. So, it just feels like I don't want to call it like a waste of time because I enjoy it and it's fun to me, right? But like if I have other things that I want to be doing and prioritizing, I don't want to feel forced to do the fantasy distraction stuff when I would rather be in this instance playing like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So the idea was to have everything scheduled and ready to go. I did fall off a little bit. That is on me. I had everything scheduled up to the Rima one that just came out, and I was supposed to have everything scheduled up to May before Final Fantasy VII Rebirth even came out. So like that not being done is on me. But there were some variables I wasn't really expecting, I guess, like other games that took up my time or me wanting to make different types of content or the idea of wanting to pivot away from like the storytelling that we're doing now and maybe do like mini series when we come back in April. So, excuse me. I would much rather try other things, new things, then continue to do the things that I've been doing since the new year started. That we basically did for like 2 months straight, with like zero results. If that makes sense. Like our subscribers went up, but I honestly feel the subscriber count only went up because of the streams, which has nothing to do with the videos themselves. All right, so like a lot of the subs and stuff that we got since the new year started came from the streams I've been doing, and not so much people finding the YouTube channel organically. If that makes sense. I mean, if you look at like the 2 latest videos that I also did not promote at all, the Merrill one that came out 4 days ago has 2 views. And the Rima one that came out yesterday has 1 view. And the Rima one even has a comment because Mistral commented on it. And I replied to the comments, so technically like 2 comments. And it still only has 1 view. And I've reached out to YouTube to see if like because the channel itself is actually from 2016, but I just started uploading stuff on it in 2020. I had uploaded stuff in 2016. I was actually, it was my gaming channel, and I used to post like NHL stuff on there. I got rid of all that. Then I used it as the Soldier's Crest channel, and I used to post like book updates and stuff when I got published on there. Did away with that. I got rid of all that stuff, cleaned it up, and started releasing the fantasy distraction stuff on it in 2020. So I truly believe that because it's a channel that was essentially dead and I revived it, I feel like there's some kind of behind the scenes stuff going on there that maybe YouTube takes that into consideration when they try to push videos with the algorithm. And I honestly truly believe that's a big part of why we do not get pushed as much. So I think I'm just going to try to reach out to them again maybe and see if that's like a thing I can fix or change or whatever. Yeah, what's up, Aiden? How's it going? It has been a while since you've been here. I'm doing good. How are you doing? How's life? I'm just going on a little YouTube rant right now, um but yeah, that's just kind of like how I feel, how I stand with fantasy distractions. I'm gonna try this other channel idea with similar tags that I want to see if it gets views on like a completely fresh channel. Um but even that, like I had wanted to get one of those out before 7 Rebirth came out, and I didn't get that put together in enough time. I have Acoustia recording that actually, but I don't have the recording for it yet. And I'm gonna have to record some like gameplay from Diablo that I wanted to put in the background of the video, and 7 Rebirth, we'll be playing that tomorrow at midnight or whatever, technically Thursday. I just don't see myself logging onto Diablo to get gameplay for that video, so who knows when that's gonna come out. But that is probably something I'm gonna experiment with and see if a brand new like fresh channel using the same tags I use on fantasy distractions does better than, because I can't get an answer from YouTube. I reached out to them already once and did not get an answer. So I will try reaching out to them again and see what happens. But I honestly think like my the fantasy distractions channel is like shadow banned or something. I don't know. It doesn't need to be Diablo. So I wrote the story with Diablo, like Diablo being in the background in mind. So it's all about like, hellish stuff and demons. So, putting like Final Fantasy 7 in the background and stuff isn't really going to make sense. I don't think. Yeah, I had Diablo in mind when I wrote the story, so I already knew Diablo was going to be the background, so it wouldn't even make sense if I used something else. I had another one with like Grand Blue Fantasy in mind, so I could probably rock like some Grand Blue Fantasy, but I'm only going to be playing Rebirth for the foreseeable future once it comes out, so I don't know. Demons, you called? No, you only pop up and say Fire Emblem. That's your line. Could you use a VOD? I could. Do I still have? I might still have some Diablo footage saved. My whole thing was it was a female barbarian character. Like the character in the story is our one of our like characters we've used in Fantasy Distractions before, and I've always pictured her as like a female barbarian. So I was gonna record female barbarian footage from Diablo to use as the background, and I never really played female barbarian before, so I would have to record it, I think, for it to make sense. Walks off stage, comes back on Fire Emblem. Nailed it. First try. What's up, Mistral? So yeah, that's kind of just where I stand with that. We're going to take March off while I figure things out. If I do come back in April, there's a good chance it might be like middle of April, not beginning of April. And this is just for Fantasy Distractions. I'll be streaming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on Twitch. For anybody watching this on YouTube, Val_Starlight, if you want to come watch that. That's also the name of my YouTube gaming channel, which I will be hopefully uploading content if I'm not a complete failure. But yeah, I've actually been playing Fire Emblem a lot recently, which is hilarious. Nice. That game I was playing last night, dude, that demo was so good. We're definitely playing that. It comes out March 8th, but we're gonna play it once I'm done with Rebirth. I definitely got to go get that game when it comes out. That game was mad fun. So it worked like an EA Games trial, I realized, after I ended stream. I think they just gave you like 7 to 10 hours, and you could just play as much as you can get through in 7 to 10 hours, and then like the demo just ends, and they let you like save your progress. Yeah, I'm gonna try to upload some Rebirth stuff. I uploaded a TikTok. I uploaded a TikTok that was actually a scene from Ever Crisis that I accidentally timed with a Rebirth trailer release. And it got like 30,000 views, and it's still getting views. I think it's up to like 32,000 views or something like that. It still gets views, it still gets comments and likes and stuff every single day since I uploaded it. That was months ago. Excuse me, sorry. And so I'm hoping like if I upload like some more TikTok videos related to Final Fantasy VII, it'll get some traction. And then I'm just gonna upload. I don't know what I'm uploading to YouTube. Either just me playing it, or it's gonna be annoying because like my mic quality is gonna be bad, and I'm not gonna be on camera. But is what it is. I'll just try to upload some Rebirth stuff. My friend told me about it because he and I were talking about Fire Emblem. This will be the last writing stream for a while. Yeah, so I won't be doing one on Thursday. After that, it's like up in the air. I mean, it's a pretty good chance I'll be so into Rebirth. I don't think we'll be doing any writing streams for March, but we'll see. I mean, like if I like plow through Rebirth or just feel like breaking it up a little bit, I might do some writing streams, but there's a pretty good chance I don't do any writing streams in March. And he was like, "Unicorn game, you should look into it. You should check it out." The demo right now is it's a pretty long demo. Definitely check it out. It's on Switch and PS5, I believe. And PS4 as well, I think. I'm pretty sure that Genshin thing is over and I gotta get rid of that. I also need to contact them. Understandable, no rush, enjoy the game. Yeah, I'm so excited for that game. So that's I was kind of hoping to use the opening of the stream to just like be something I could chop up and throw on YouTube as like an update on the Fantasy Distractions channel as to why I'll be like MIA for a month. But yeah, that's like pretty much Like it's mostly because of Rebirth, but it's also because like I kind of just need a reset after the first 2 months were not really the results I was looking for. And then we'll see how it goes. I was gonna upload the Rima miniseries stuff on March 1st, but I'm actually gonna wait and use that for when I'm ready to upload again. So I'm gonna hold off on that. I have the art made for it already. So I'll hold off and wait on that. What is creating the glare on my glasses? It's got to be the computer screen, obviously, but I feel like this never really happens. It might just be the angle of the camera or where I'm standing. I don't know. Maybe I just don't notice it normally. Yeah. Like, instead of just getting like frustrated and like doing something drastic, like I'm never uploading a fantasy distraction again, or like make a new channel or whatever. I'm just gonna take a break, take a month off, enjoy Rebirth, reset, Rebirth, remake, reset, and just take it from there. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, but again, it's like the stories and the characters and stuff like that, they're not going anywhere. So worst case scenario, even if I decided to like stop uploading on YouTube for some reason, I'm still gonna release fantasy distraction stuff in some capacity. It's just I have no intention of ending it anytime soon. I need a break because it's driving me nuts. Because like I go crazy like promoting and pushing stuff, and it gets 30 views. When I like go all out, it gets 30 views. When I don't do anything, it gets like 2. So I don't know. I would like to have some organic views and not just me like pushing and asking people to comment, because 99% of the people I ask to comment also don't comment. And then that frustrates me. So it's a whole thing. I just need to step away from it, enjoy Rebirth, come back at it with like a clear head, and that'll be that. All right. That being said, I do want to talk about what it would look like if when we do come back. The other thing I wanted to mention was we won't be uploading nothing necessarily. We will be doing still gonna be uploading the spot. I have the Spotify stuff scheduled from now all the way through May and maybe even April, I think. And the Royal Road uploads are gonna continue from now all the way through May. So we will technically still be releasing the Spotify stuff and the Royal Road stuff. We're just not gonna have anything new on like the actual YouTube channel for like a month. Uh, I don't comment. That's okay, Kitty. All good, Aiden. No worries. I'll promise I'll leave so many comments you wouldn't be able to read them all. I appreciate that, man. No, I get it. I mean, I get it. Everybody's busy, but it's just once in a while. It'd be nice, you know. Like it's not even so much like it's not even so much that it frustrates me. Like, oh, like I'm asking family, I'm asking friends, and it's a general ask. Like, I'm not going up to the person or like, DMing the person, like, hey, can you comment on this? And then they don't. It's like a general, like, I posted on Facebook, I posted on Twitter, I posted, and that's where my friends should be able to see it. I don't know. Maybe they blocked me. Maybe I'm annoying. I don't know, but it's just like, like if I posted with an everyone ping and like even like they absolutely don't have to, and they're already doing me a favor because they're basically voice acting everything essentially for free for me. I do still intend to pay them more. I've paid them a little bit, but pay them more when all is said and done. But it's like if I do an everyone ping in the actual Fantasy Distraction Discord where all the voice actors are, I can't even get the voice actors who are part of the project to comment. So like even on the ones that they're in. So I mean, if I can't do that, then I'm not gonna get some random person to comment, right? That I don't even know. Or like same with family and friends. Like if I post it on Facebook and they see it and I'm asking like, hey, we only need like 3 more subs. Or hey, we only need like, or hey, can you just go like leave a comment or a like? It doesn't cost you anything. It's literally 2 seconds of your time. Or the videos are like 5 minutes. Can you just go watch this 5-minute video? Like I can't even get family to do that. But I don't know how I'm gonna get random people to do it. So it is what it is. Rant over. Sorry. It's frustrating from my standpoint. If you can put yourself in my shoes, it is pretty frustrating. I need to open Google. But that isn't even like it annoys me sometimes, but like if I'm just venting, it does annoy me sometimes. But like I said, the thing I would much rather is like if I upload something and I do the research for the SEO, the tags, the stuff like that, and I see other people using similar tags, uploading short stories, getting organic views. I would much rather that. I would much rather like I'd put in the research and the time and the effort. I upload it with the correct things. I would like to see some organic views and comments and things like that. I'm just not getting that, which is like I said, my concern with like the future of thank you for that, Kitty. The future of like the channel, right? Like I'm worried that we're not getting shown at all or pushed at all through the algorithm. Because the channel is technically old and somewhat revived slash dead. You know, so that's another thing that I don't know. You know, maybe it'd be doing better if I started from scratch. I didn't even think that this was a thing that could happen. And YouTube won't actually answer me when I, you know, send in a support ticket or whatever. So, don't know. Okay, give me 1 sec. I would like to try to pick up where we left off last week. So I read all the Soldier's Crest stuff that we did not release. We could read some I have some fantasy distraction short stories that we didn't release as well. So we can maybe read those tonight. Yeah, sorry for ranting. I just I'm just being real and honest with you guys. That's just where I'm at mentally, I guess, when it comes to fantasy distractions. Thank you for the bits, Kitty. Why did that not pop up in Streamlabs OBS? All right. So there are some things here that I did not release that I was going to release in the stuff that I had scheduled up until May, so we can read some of those. You find I have a really fun Zayla one that I was trying to get Cecilia to record. Thank you for the bet. That one popped up in OBS. OBS just being picky. Let me see. We could do. I had a bunch of Galaxy Federation stuff I was planning to release too. That I'm not sure we're gonna release now. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do the Zayla one. It's not gonna be nearly as good as if I were to get Cecilia to voice it, but it's just a fun little story. And then maybe we'll do the Galaxy Federation stuff. Now, with the Galaxy Federation stuff, it was supposed to continue a story that Jake and I did called, I think it was literally just called Starlight. And that I would be doing zero justice if I read it, because the recording came, me and Jake were talking about this when he was on the stream. That recording came out amazing. So we'll probably just listen to that, and then I'll read the ones I was planning to release as like follow-ups to that. Could be fun to just do the whole Maz Starlight Samurai stuff live too. Sorry, give me one sec. Let me open up my Twitch overlay for my chat. It'll be good because if I read a couple of things and then we do the Starlight thing, that'll be good because it'll give me a little breather and rest my voice for a second. Yeah, that's like 6 minutes long. All right, let's do the Zayla one first, and then we'll do the Galaxy Federation stuff. I won't read all of the Kai stuff. I think we actually read those on stream not that long ago, like the original Kai one. Plus, I've released that like 3 or 4 times. I'll just like summarize them. Transmissions, I think I read some of Transmissions on stream. I mean, we could just like listen to them, but is there any other ones in between those two? I guess there's the fantasy shorts. The Dr. Cowan stuff technically ties into it. Squared, let's just do a Galaxy Federation kind of night after the Zayla thing. I'll just read it all except Starlight. That's the only one I like refused to read because it came out so good. Let me get everything set up in order. We'll just read it all. Read it all. They're not that long, so. The Zayla one is like super short, so. All right, so there's the Kai one, then we did transmissions. That should be the second Kai one. I mean, there are some very loose reference, like he's mentioned in Tabor. There's some very loose mentions of Kai. But we don't have to do those. He's mentioned in like the juvenile one and stuff. Trying to set them up in order. Oh, there's a Maz one too, yes. Trying to set them up in order of release. Like in the order that I wrote them, basically. So that would be that, and then the shorts. Every time I see the Merc one, man, I don't know if Jake's still in chat. We talked about this pretty heavily and when he was on the stream too, but that Merc story, I don't know why I like it so much. It's so silly. All right, I think I opened up everything related to connected to Kai, but we're gonna do. We'll do the Zalo story first, and then we'll get to those, and then I'll use the Starlight one. The Starlight one we'll just listen to give my voice a break. You can see all the millions of tabs that I opened up here, but all right. So this is the Zayla one, completely unrelated to everything else we're going to be doing tonight, but if I am not going to do any reading streams for a while, I would like to read this one because it's fun, and I don't know if we'll release it anytime soon. Okay. Here we go. Zayla wakes to the sound of Birch's snoring in the middle of the night. She walks into his room and stares at him snoring away, tempted to freeze his nostrils. She somehow resists the urge and makes her way into their kitchen. Perhaps a midnight snack while she waits for Birch's noisy breathing to cease will help relax her. But unfortunately for this witch, her aggravation was about to grow. She opened the cupboard designated for her treats only to find it empty. How could this be possible? A trip to Thana's bakery a few days prior filled it to the brim. Plus, there was that detour to Vorpal the group made not that long ago. Wandering through Vorpal after everyone evacuated because of the war was one of the greatest money-free shopping sprees she had ever been a part of, and the sweets were beginning to pile up. How then could her not-so-secret stash be vacant of her favorite delicacies? Luxie was up. She often didn't sleep. But now that Zayla thought about it, she had never really seen Luxie eat either. No wonder she was so skinny, Zayla thought. Either way, it would not be their pale companion stealing her goods, nor would it be Birch. Birch was a large man with quite an appetite. But since she started traveling with Birch, his diet had consisted of meat, and more meat. Besides, he would know better than to sneak one of her treats, let alone the entire cupboard. No, something else was afoot here, and she was going to get to the bottom of it. Flustered and frustrated, Zayla hurried down into the basement of the abandoned apartment the mercenaries used as their home since the war started. Forming a small flame in the palm of her hand, Zayla began to browse some of her magical wares. She was known for housing some creatures for potions and experiments. It was very possible that one had escaped. Those are some great emotes for this. She quickly brushed her hand around jars and containers until she found an empty one. It was labeled Charles. I did not know Sarah's real name was Charles when I wrote this, by the way. I should probably tell him about this one. That dastardly barb beast, she shouted, despite no one being in range to hear her, other than a few little critters in the jar beside her. She gave them some side-eye to disguise her own embarrassment, and made her way outside. In the back of their formerly abandoned apartment was a small pond area that had become more of a mini swamp than anything. That's where she saw the barb beast. a large bullfrog with spikes all over its body. Floating in the mini-swamp pond were some of her treats. You were using my food as lily pads? Zayla stomped the ground as she yelled. The barb beast whimpered and hopped to the farthest end of the pond. A snap of her fingers shot vines from a nearby tree that grabbed the barb beast and brought it face to face with her. She crossed her arms. I wonder if Birch wants frog legs for breakfast. In a moment of panic, the barb beast presented a truce offering by opening its mouth and presenting a tiny cupcake on its tongue. Needless to say, Zayla was not amused. I heard meat and got hungry, yeah. Meat, and more meat. That's Birch's diet. First off, gross. Second, you can't offer me something that already belongs to me. Ugh! Zayla put her hand on the ground and froze the entire back area of their apartment, including the pond. She then let the vines drop, and the moment the barb beast hit the frozen ground, she created an icicle prison for it. She went to sit on thin air, but as her rear end would be making contact with a chair, a frozen throne appeared out of the ground for her. She tapped her index finger on the side of her cheek. What am I going to do with you? Just as ideas of pain and displeasure for her little froggy friend danced around in her head, some of her other escaped creatures began to emerge from just beyond the pond. They found what was left of her stash for her, and all manner of little beasts began to surround her with a sweets offering. Zayla browsed her options and settled on a brownie, taking a bite and relishing in the taste of it for a few moments. Charles, she shouted, write this down. Charles was just a monstrous bullfrog, so he did no such thing, of course. As much as I enjoyed this little midnight gathering, I need a bigger lab. I need to replenish my stock. I need stronger jars. And I need a sign in the basement. She's growing louder and angry at this point. That reminds you all that Mommy needs her beauty sleep. Zayla finished her brownie, stood up, and began walking back into the apartment. The ice behind her melted almost immediately. Despite their sudden freedom, the creatures, monsters, and critters followed her inside and returned to the basement. Zayla noticed Birch was no longer snoring, so she laid back down. Her mind started to drift to sleep as she whispered out loud, Maybe I'm too hard on them. Just as Birch began to snore again. She rose, in a rage. Fire danced on her hand as she rushed to Birch's room. And then it's just her yelling, Ah! Ah! When did I write this? That is a good question. December 9th, 2022. She got all the elements. Yeah, she can cast a little bit of everything. She's not like super efficient in any one magic, but she can cast a little bit of everything. No worries. I knew it was. I literally just opened it, so I knew where to find it. Yeah, December 9th, 2022. That's when I was trying to do 365 stories in all of 2023. So it's funny, like between like November and December of 2022, I just wrote like so many short stories. It's ridiculous. Okay, this one I've read on stream a bunch, so I think I'm gonna skip that. This is the actual Kai story. It is told in the from the perspective of Maz. Maz is a he's like a bounty hunter. And Kai shows up to his planet and he's on a mission, and he basically, like, Kai is kind of like Vash the Stampede, where he like goes somewhere but he doesn't like intend for things to get so out of control, but they kind of get out of control, and he ends up like destroying cities or planets, or by accident. Yeah, it was pretty short. They were all like about like 2 pages ish, because I was writing like 365 of them, so I figured like if most of them were that long, I could definitely pull it off. But that's what I was kind of talking about on the last stream, where some of them felt like incomplete and probably needed a little bit more to them. So I'm kind of happy I didn't go through that, because it probably would have been like, I probably would have pulled it off, but the amount of stories that were like really good probably would have been like few and far between. Not necessarily that they would be bad, just not long enough or like fleshed out enough to like really deliver, I guess, to my own standards. I just realized I forgot to write something down. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna read the original Kai story just because I've read it on stream before a few times. And we've released it a few times. So gist of it is Maz is a bounty hunter. Kai shows up to the planet he's from, basically destroys the planet. Maz is pretty mad because like he thought he was running the show on that planet, and he wants to get revenge on Kai. That's the gist. If you haven't seen me read it on stream or listen to it. This story is called Transmissions, where we had basically all of our voice actors at the time voice on it. So that's why it has this like please read first thing at the top. But this is I would suggest going to listen to this one if you haven't. It was our like first time really doing anything like this. I'm pretty happy with it, the way it came out. But I'm just going to read it for the sake of getting through all this. It's 4 pages, but it's probably going to feel as short as the Zayla one, if not shorter, because it's a lot of like bouncing around. But the premise of it was like people sending in calls about the Starlight Samurai. You know, like him destroying their planets, or, you know, anything related to Kai. It was just like a series of people sending in these transmissions about what's happening with Kai. So this is transmission number 1, which Jake did. Basically, everybody did an amazing job on this, but Jake read this one and it was awesome. But yeah, all right. So this is transmission number 1. It has been 21 weeks. I'm not the most technologically savvy person. I'm not even sure if these messages are reaching anyone out there, but I'll continue to make them in hopes that they do. This message comes from the planet Ruria, or at least what's left of it. If you hear it, please send help. As far as I know, I'm the sole survivor of what happened here. Luckily, I have plenty of food to survive, but it's lonely. It's terrifying. And who knows when he'll come back here to finish the job. And a burp. I probably shouldn't be drinking soda when I stream because it makes me burp a lot, but you're welcome, chat. I'm talking about a cyborg they call the Starlight Samurai. The Galaxy Federation wants you to believe he's a hero. But any planet unfortunate enough to experience his reign of terror knows he's no hero. He's a demon. They sent him here to wipe out a monster infestation, something I imagine must be routine for someone like him. Instead, he reduced this planet to rubble. Please, if you hear this message, please send someone to get me. This planet is still very habitable if the right people come to rebuild it. Transmission number 2. I send this as Dieter enters its darkest hour. What started as a war between 2 nations will end in the destruction of our planet. We need space support as soon as possible. Entire cities are falling. The Galaxy Federation has to hear our plea. Tell their guard dog to retreat. Things were bad here on Dieter before. Don't get me wrong. But at least we were able to live our lives. Please send help! 2 exclamation marks. Peak writing. Transmission number 3. This is Commander Cade of planet number 519. Or 519, apparently, is how it's supposed to be. And that I put in parentheses. This is Commander Cade of planet number 519. Request permission to execute the Galaxy Federation's mercenary. If there is a kill switch at HQ, then I recommend pulling it to prevent unnecessary bloodshed. If no action is taken within the next 24 hours, our planet will be forced to go on the offensive. We have let the Starlight Samurai act without jurisdiction for too long on too many planets. He does not come here to provide help or any type of assistance. He has crushed towns and villages in pursuit of a minor mission. He will be put down, even if I have to pull the trigger myself. Transmission number 4. We actually got Lonan to voice on this. Our buddy Lonan. If you're getting this message, then please make haste. We don't have a lot of time. I've put together a team of individuals tasked with preparing as many transport ships as humanly possible. Work while you listen to me, please. Every second counts. An alien race known as the Eru has landed on our planet, and they are bad enough on their own. But some cyborg samurai guy showed up a few days after, and all hell broke loose. I will help evacuate as many of our people as possible, but the rest is up to you. Bring all the galaxy soldiers you have, and come save this planet while you still can. All right, this is transmission number 5. I hear a lot of horror stories about the Starlight Samurai, but I don't think he's the monster everyone thinks he is. The worst things I remember about my town started long before he arrived. They reached their peak after he got here, but he wasn't the cause. The city I was born in was called Meiripa. I use past tense for a reason. Its mayor was a ruthless ruler with most crime syndicates in his back pocket. Some of us tried to rebel, but it often was a lost cause. They sent in Kai, that's the Starlight Samurai's real name, to stop the corruption. The fighting that broke out wasn't started by him. I was working in the town hall when he confronted Mayor Clint. He did not fire the first shot, nor did he swing his katana until the innocent were safe. The moment Mayor Clint's men opened fire, I hid behind a nearby desk. I peeked out occasionally and saw Kai take many bullets to protect some of us. He's not the villain of these stories. I refuse to believe it. When the fighting ramped up and some of the dust settled on buildings that used to be homes and places of business, I had just finished packing my bags. It was time to leave Meiripa and possibly even get off this entire planet if I could. That's when I saw an odd texture on the floor. It was blood, but not normal human blood. It was Kai's blood. Mayor Clint's men had weapons that could harm him, and he was seeking shelter in my home. That's when I met Kai. Not the cyborg killing machine, the Starlight Samurai. Kai, the man hidden beneath the chaos. Transmission number 6. This one was recorded by Derpy, and he ad-libbed a lot of stuff that I didn't write. But his version is actually really, really good if you listen to the actual video. Transmission number 6. I call not for help, but so there is a record of my voice if things don't go my way. I look out the windows and I see nothing left of a once prosperous city. I've thrown all that I have at him, at that devil, the galaxy's own monster. In the last few days, I've had my own people betray me and try to feed me to him. They say he's here for me. I've done nothing wrong. I just did what I needed to survive. If the galaxy has a problem with that, then they should have reached out to me. Instead, they sent some psychopath cyborg with a katana to hunt me down. Pathetic. You don't get as far as I got in life without getting your hands dirty. So I sit here and I wait in my bunker beneath the city, my own weapons at the ready. I don't think there's a living soul above me other than him, but I say let him come. Let him try to take what's mine. I'll carry his head like a trophy when I go to my next planet to rebuild my kingdom. Cyborg killing machines. I love my cyborg killing machines. All right, transmission number 7. I gotta see if I can get the Maz voice down. It's very like it's the only accent I do for Fantasy Distractions, I feel. Besides Strawn, but Strawn doesn't count because that's terrible. That was good. Thank you, Mistral. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. All right, this is the final transmission. The messages keep coming in. Planet number 519 is under heavy assault. Perhaps we should have listened to Commander Cade when he submitted his report. I was told to record every one of Kai's missions with excessive detail, utilizing reports and transmissions from other planets to pinpoint exact locations, dates, and results. The statistics are staggering. At this rate, if Kai is left unchecked by the Galaxy Federation, these casualty numbers will continue to skyrocket. We've managed to send some help out despite the Galaxy Federation's firm stance on interfering with Kai's missions. Dieter was salvageable, and we managed to save that lonely man on Ruria. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for Antius. While we did manage to intercept some of the transport ships to help them get to safety, the planet itself is uninhabitable now. A waste of good resources, if you ask me. A necessity, if you ask the Galaxy Federation. I personally think it was because the Eru were there, and not so much because of Kai's involvement. Though I will admit some of these transmissions are a bit bizarre. There are messages from planets where we know for sure Kai hasn't gone to. I have records of his location being elsewhere when reports of a cyborg with a red casing came in. I'm sure there are other cyborgs out there in the universe, but these transmissions are very similar to the ones about Kai, yet they are definitely about someone else. I've marked each one of these messages for future evaluation. Here's a gunshot noise. Who are you? Okay. Relax, little missy. Step aside. I just need to pinpoint the location of our mutual friend. No one else needs to get hurt in here today. Commander Cade thinks his men are enough to stop him. What a joke. He took Ronka from me. That planet was mine. Now I'm gonna rip him limb from limb, sell his scraps and let what's left of his human side drift off into the remains of the planets he's destroyed. Let him have his fun with Cade and his inferior army. When all is said and done, it'll just be me and my destiny. Mark my words, little missy. I'm gonna rid this universe of the Starlight Samurai. It'll get there. I have to do his voice a few more times. It'll get there, though. I wasn't as good as I normally do it, but it'll get there. He's very, like, McCree-ish. And, I mean, McCree is done by Matt Mercer, so it won't be on that level ever, but... Alright. This is a fantasy short that we did. This is just from, like, Kai's perspective. It's Kai speaking, so... yeah, the original Kai video, the first one we released, which I then re-released recently. Where is it? This one? I do that like accent for the entire video, because it's told from Maz is the one telling the story, so. And we've re-released this a few times, and I've done some other videos with Maz in it, so yeah. Okay, so this is told from Kai's perspective. This one's also short. This is like same month as like the Zayla one. That was the length we used for all the fantasy shorts, so it's about 2 pages. A break in the action leaves me wandering the galaxy in search of peace. I was made in a lab. Fragments of my memories linger. They haunt me daily, even the peaceful ones. The struggle to try to piece together my past leaves me just as empty as when I'm able to remember. Nothing returns to me. So instead, I return to the places they say I'm responsible for destroying. Some of these places are no longer suitable for normal humans. Others just haven't been rebuilt yet. I find beauty in the desolation. It gives me a place to feel human again. I take the missions the Galaxy Federation gives me. It's what I'm programmed to do. They point to a place on their maps, and I go there to execute what they want me to. Outside of that, I'm free to act on my own. But when the entire universe considers you a threat, there aren't many places to go. It leads to a very sad and lonely life, which in turn leads me to many questions. A lonely life? Am I even alive? Is what I feel true human emotion, or is it what they want me to feel? There are few who don't run and hide when they see me. They provide a rare moment for me to be vulnerable, for me to let my guard down and be a person, like I was once. I met a girl in Mayripa. She wanted to leave the planet because of the fighting that broke out against me. I was hurt. Nothing fatal, but enough to slow me down. She patched up my wounds. Her hands were shaky at first, but she knew I wasn't really there to hurt her people. That I was trying to make her planet safer, not destroy it. I am the most misunderstood being in the universe. She learned to understand that. I am grateful for her. I don't know what will become of her. I don't know if I'll ever see her again. I helped her get to safety. Where she goes from there is up to her. I returned to this planet because it's starting to recover, and I know there are flowers that can grow here. She told me of a rare flower on her planet called the Rift Walker Rose. The database of information I can tap into said they grow here, and despite the destruction, they do in abundance. Maybe they were called something different on this planet, but it's interesting that something rare to her is common here, on what people consider a dying planet, no less. It's ironic and beautiful. I have moments like these, moments where I remember how complicated life could be, moments where I can remember how to feel, brief moments of peace and tranquility between bloodshed and chaos. I long for more moments like these. Yeah, Kai is meant to read like, I don't know if I delivered it as well in the newer stuff because it's more like conversational, but Kai is meant to be like his his memories are very fragmented, so like even his speech is very like he's thinking about every word almost. Like he has to like process every word before he says it, essentially. Sorry. Oh, that was nice. Yeah. This one is very I don't know. I like this one. This one's not even like a page and a half. It's literally like a page and one sentence. This one's mad short. But I knew I was going to read it like slow. So I think that's why I did that. I think it was kind of like that on purpose. All right, this one is called Maz Violent Reckoning. Yeah, like I wanted it to be like a window into his mind a bit for the viewer, you know, or listener, I guess in this case. Just to show you that like everybody paints him as like this violent murderer, monster, demon, and he's just like he's trying to figure things out. Okay. Reckoner? Reckoning? Did I say Reckoner? What did I say? It's called Violent Reckoning. What did I say Reckoner? I also should probably think about my words one at a time before I say them, if that's the case. No, I'm just saying from the Destiny title, the game. Destiny 1. I played a lot of Destiny 1 and a decent amount of Destiny 2. Is that a newer thing? I don't remember that. I think about Destiny quotes all the time. Especially when what's his name? The Titan guy. When he goes, "We go down." I think about that all the time. Whenever I'm like, "Oh, we have to go down." Be like, "We go down." Sorry. Okay. I also easily distracted and derailed by Destiny sometimes. Zavala, yes, thank you. I can never remember his name for some reason. I don't know why. All right. I know exactly why I'm here. To detail the events of what happened on our outpost and to explain where Maz, the terrorist who took over our outpost, is headed. So this is told from the perspective of the girl at the end of transmissions. who is voiced by Janine. Highly recommend actually listening to these. Okay. The answer is fairly simple. Maz is a man with an agenda. He's after your demon, the Starlight Samurai. The one I've been tasked with watching and keeping tabs on. The issue Maz has with the Starlight Samurai dates back to his mission on Ronka. I assume it's alright if I refer to the Starlight Samurai as Kai from here on. Good. Kai goes to Ronka to complete your mission, but leaves death and destruction in his wake, as he typically does. This didn't sit well with Maz, who felt he ran this planet before Kai showed up. Shortly after the destruction, Kai leaves, as the Galaxy Federation gives him the means in which to come and go as he pleases on just about any planet. This left Maz behind to pick up the pieces, but there wasn't much left for him to pick up, something that also didn't quite sit well with Maz. So who exactly is Maz, you ask? Well, I was assigned the task of following the Starlight Samurai in his missions. Not everyone he meets along the way, but after Maz attacked our outpost, I did some digging. Turns out he's just your run-of-the-mill miscreant, and similar to many of the people on Ronka, a bounty hunter. According to himself, Maz is one of the best bounty hunters on Ronka, but this still should make him no match for Kai. At least that's what we all thought. This brings us to Kai's most recent mission. Yet another one that you assigned him here at the Galaxy Federation. Kai's missions always seem minor, but at the outpost we've started to piece together that what you assign him isn't quite the actual mission, hence why everything always seems to go boom, right? Forgive me for detailing things you should already know, but for record's sake, I'll continue to be as detailed as you hired me to be. Oasis is a quiet planet, known mostly for serene waters and a fairly safe vacation spot in the galaxy. However, those more in the know that this is just a front. Oasis has a pretty dangerous underground crime syndicate, which, if we're being blunt, so do most of these fancier planets in the galaxy. This sounds like your traditional Starlight Samurai mission. It at least has all the workings of one. An otherwise peaceful planet on the surface with a horrifyingly dangerous undertone, which will most likely turn into yet another wasteland at the hands of Kai just trying to get the job done. In quotations, get the job done. The Galaxy Federation really needs to reconsider using these planets for resources, but I digress. Kai goes to Oasis, seemingly unnoticed, as he slips into the more shady parts of the planet. Not many people know he's even there, but Maz knows thanks to his attack on our outpost. I was forced to give him Kai's exact coordinates and what planet he was going to next, as Maz held me at gunpoint. That's where things get complicated on Oasis. Instead of letting Kai start his mission and interrupting it, Maz took a more direct approach. Kai gets to the area where he's meant to carry out his mission, but when he enters this particular shady establishment, he's surprised to see it's cleaned out completely. The place he's meant to shut down is empty. His target and all potential associates are already executed. It's a rare bloodbath full of blood Kai himself didn't have to shed. Curious, Kai inspects the area. Sure, he could have left and said he completed the task. We both know that isn't Kai's style. The cyborg is programmed to be a mass murderer for the Federation, but there is a human side in there somewhere that does feel remorse. As Kai goes further into this establishment, he finds more gifts from Maz. Gifts that he stole from our database, which I'm sorry about, but like I said, the whole gunpoint thing, and let's face it, we both know I don't get paid enough to protect this data with my life. So what are the gifts? Holographic images of Kai's past. The more bloody, personal missions that have gone awry are photos of Kai on his days off, where he's on planets he finds peaceful, and even pictures of Adriana, the girl he had a connection with in Meiripa. It's hard to tell if this affected Kai in any way. If it did, he managed to keep his cool. He continued to press forward until he reached the end of the establishment. Maz and his men did some handiwork and replaced the back door with a new, much larger door. Kai inspected it thoroughly for traps before opening it and was surprised when it led to a large empty area. Our records show this area was originally intended to be used to expand one of Oasis's resorts. Once the underground crime made its way into Oasis, those plans were scrapped. The shady individuals on Oasis had filled this area with their own stolen goods, but Maz cleared it out, leaving a large empty space akin to an arena. A perfect place for two rivals to settle their differences. The perfect place for a showdown. Janine delivers this line really, really good in the actual take of it. I wanted this to be like her just sitting in like an interrogation room while like Galaxy Federation members just want her like account of what happened, and her being kind of like a little sassy about it because she just got held at gunpoint, and like they're essentially like just trying to get information out of her when she's still a little uh shaken up, shook up. All right, this one is like Kai adjacent. You like the sassiness? Yeah, she's a little sassy, which is funny because Janine plays her and not Cecilia, but she's got a little sass going on. Okay. This one is called Dr. Callan, the Samurai, and Paladin. To be chosen for an experiment of this magnitude, you must first be worthy. Then your past history must align with the requirements for the procedure. You may be considered a good person in the eyes of many, but if you were never a physical specimen, then you would get passed on. In comparison, if you were top of your class in physical achievements and lived a life full of activities demanding of your body, but your attitude was poor, and you were mean to others, then you too would be passed on. Dr. Callan was the creator of some of the Galaxy Federation's greatest medical enhancements, technological advancements, and military weaponry. The tech used in outposts. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The tech used in outposts across the galaxy to monitor threats and keep tabs on questionable allies was one of her creations. She had cured multiple diseases, thought to be incurable during her tenure with the Galaxy Federation as well. However, despite her achievements and accolades, none came close to Project Starlight. The body of the man who would become known as Kai was the type of specimen Callan was looking for. It's still unsure exactly where he came from. The Galaxy Federation found his body frozen on a cargo ship that they confiscated. Whoever froze Kai must have done it to save his life, because Dr. Callan found some complications in his bloodstream, as well as damage done to his nervous system. Once Kai was brought in and presented to Dr. Callan, everything changed. The Galaxy Federation gave her full permission to carry out Project Starlight because if Callan was successful, it could change everything for the Galaxy Federation and the future of their operations. It was far from an easy process and took months for Callan to figure out. She had to make sure her ideas would work before they even attempted to open up the case, keeping Kai alive. When she was sure her experiment would succeed, they unfroze Kai. In order to save Kai's life, Callan had to rework almost his entire body. Dr. Callan often described it as a complete shame, considering the physique Kai had before the transformation. But turning him into a cyborg was necessary. This process took Callan years to perfect, and she spent almost every minute of every day with Kai, tweaking parts of him here and there. She didn't want to mess with anything inside his head, but she had no choice. The complications within Kai's body spread to his brain, so Callan was forced to make modifications. These modifications were of the most interest to the Galaxy Federation because they realized they could program Kai to be the ultimate soldier. Dr. Callan fought them on this at first, but the Galaxy Federation threatened to take her off the project if she didn't comply. She considered Kai to be her own child, so she did not want to be separated from him. She took every precaution to make sure the programming was safe and wouldn't harm Kai in any way. Once Kai was up and running, they began to do a lot of testing. To their surprise, he knew how to fight, but not just basic hand-to-hand combat or self-defense. Kai was possibly the greatest fighter in the universe. They had seen nothing like it. Even without the robotic parts kicking in, Kai had some of the fastest reflexes they had ever seen. He was proficient in most weapons, including artillery, but the sword was his weapon of choice. He took a liking to samurai-style katanas especially. Of course. That's just because of me. But of course. As Project Starlight reached new heights, the Galaxy Federation felt ready to send Kai on his first mission. Cowan prepared him for it and programmed what the Federation wanted. But a week before the mission, the powers that be in the Galaxy Federation took Callan off the project. She fought back against them for this. She didn't understand their reasoning for taking her off the project, but they explained that they were afraid she had become too attached to Kai, whom they had now given the name, the Starlight Samurai. Callan felt this thinking was absurd. She knew Kai the best, whether she was too attached to the project or not. For them to send him out on a single mission without her there to support would be a big mistake. Despite her best efforts, they wouldn't budge on the matter. Callan believed they wanted her off the project so they could program Kai to do their dirty work, something that Callan would disagree with and fight against them about. Months passed, and Kai became what the Galaxy Federation wanted. Dr. Callan would oversee minor projects during Kai's success, but they no longer gave her the freedom she had before. Despite being their greatest doctor and scientist at this point, they refused to use her properly. As Callan heard more and more about what they were using Kai to do, she could no longer stomach being associated with the Galaxy Federation. She made her way to the main offices to put in her resignation. On her way there, she saw Kai passing in the hallway. She stopped to admire her work, but noticed bruises and marks all over Kai's body. She went to approach him, but he didn't even acknowledge her presence. The Galaxy Federation must have wiped his memories, even his memories of her. This devastated Callan and reassured her that quitting the Galaxy Federation was the right thing to do. Life after working for the Galaxy Federation was strange for Dr. Callan. These projects were how she spent all of her time. She had no hobbies outside of work. She had no friends, and any family she had, she didn't want to interact with. The Galaxy Federation gave her a very generous severance package, even though she was the one who chose to quit. This was probably because the Galaxy Federation wanted Dr. Callan to keep quiet about the projects she worked on while there. Despite her success, the lives she saved, and the money they gave her, Callan felt empty. She missed Kai in the process of helping him get back on his feet. Her baby had become a killer thanks to the Galaxy Federation's missions, and she wanted nothing more than to right her wrongs, a task that would be easier said than done. She used the money given to her to hire expedition crews that would work under the galaxy's radars. Keeping a low profile was easy when Callan knew all of their schedules and how to negate the effects of their tech and tracking systems. The questionable individuals that she hired for this task brought her many potential specimens, most of which she knew just by looking at them would not survive the process she put Kai through. She thought for sure she would never find a specimen that could live up to the standards that Kai set. But to her surprise, they found a similar person frozen on a cargo ship, just like the one they found Kai in. This person was a female, though it appeared as if her genes were spliced with a feline of some sort. Cat ears instead of human ones, and a tail she could see through the casing used to keep her frozen, were the most notable appearance changes taken from the feline, while the rest of her looked like a normal human. Callan paid the people she hired and told them that she may no longer need their services. She ran many tests on the specimen, and was shocked to see many differences between her and Kai, though the differences weren't as negative as she expected. This person had a different disease than what Kai had, and the fixes she would need to make would be minor in comparison. Due to these changes, she was able to speed up the process, and unfroze the specimen way sooner than she did Kai. While Kai needed to be renamed, this casing had Cynthia written on the side. Waking up Cynthia was easy, though she took a bit longer to adjust to things than Kai did. In a few weeks, Callan got Cynthia situated with her new life, and made modifications to her body as necessary. Nothing as severe as what she had to do for Kai, but there were still some changes that had to be made. Cynthia didn't seem to mind. She was just happy to be awake again. She told Dr. Callan all types of stories about her past, and it made Callan glad that the Galaxy Federation wasn't involved. This meant that she could leave Cynthia's memories intact, and she remembered things she could share. And as she remembered things, she could share them. Cynthia had shared many stories, but had trouble remembering her youth. She recalled a man in her life that may have been her father that would often tell her how proud he was of her, but she couldn't remember his face or his name. She recalled being in a war of some kind, and it made sense once Callan started running physical tests. Cynthia was almost as good as Kai when it came to combat. While Kai was slightly faster with his attacks and movement, Cynthia was much more agile, most likely due to the feline DNA. Dr. Cowan let Cynthia do most of the sharing for the first few months of their relationship, but eventually Cowan began to tell Cynthia of her son, who had gone astray, and her need to save him. Cowan wasn't physically fit to do it herself, but she suggested that Cynthia might be able to help her in exchange for Cowan saving her life and waking her up. Cynthia agreed to help, and Cowan began to put the plans in motion to stop Kai and save him from the Galaxy Federation. All Cowan wanted now was to make Cynthia into the hero Kai could have been. Gotta have cat girls, right? Cat girls, samurai swords. I mean, just staples of my writing at this point. All right, this is a two-part series that we released. That was kind of sad midway. Yeah, they do Dr. Cowan dirty for sure. The Galaxy Federation are messed up, but Dr. Cowan, like, it's written in a way where she doesn't seem that bad, but you got to figure she probably did some shady stuff too. I mean, the stuff she's doing is kind of shady in general, um, but yeah. So we're gonna do more with that. And there's an unreleased story about so the whole idea was there was supposed to be a bunch of these cyborg characters. Let me go to my original outline. I may still do this. So this is kind of spoilery, but I think it's this one. Yeah, I just called it like the Light Saga. Oh, Xenosaga was great. Xenogears, Xenosaga. I just saw on the Square Enix website, I don't know if you played Xenogears, but Xenogears, there was a guy named Bartholomew. They're making like a Play Arts figure of him. And I thought it was so random. I didn't see anybody else from Xenogears. It was just Bart. And I loved Bart. So if I had money, I would definitely buy that. But I thought that was mad random. That made me think of it for some reason. But I just saw it like a day or two ago. Yeah, so the idea was it was gonna be called the Light Saga. And it was the Starlight Samurai stories will start off as an overarching storyline that takes place over the entirety of Fantasy Distractions. With the Starlight Samurai going from planet to planet, causing mayhem and destruction everywhere he goes, and building up that suspense for when he finally does set foot on Fenrir. When he does arrive, that will hopefully have viewers, listeners reacting and understanding that stuff is about to get real. There are other light characters that will be connected to the Starlight Samurai, and things will tie together way in the future. Probably around number 200 if we continue to make these consistently. So there's meant to be like other cyborg characters out there. And the only one I wrote that we didn't release was see if I can find it. We could read that one too. Look at all the stuff I had done for February 2023. That was a lot. I'll find it eventually. Hold on. I was planning to release it. I think I had Vengeance record it. In here somewhere? Here it is. I gotta organize this better. We'll read this last. I love Xenosaga. It's honestly what opened me to sci-fi. Nice. Never played Xenogears, but I know it's popular. Yeah, Xenogears is definitely worth checking out. There's a character in that game named Id also. And when we were playing Grand Blue Fantasy, that reminded me of that. His stories sound like they'll be interesting. Yeah, tying him into everything, I've been thinking about for a long time. So I think when we finally get to that, it'll be cool. I definitely want to do some more cyborg stuff. Does he get his memories back along the way? He does. That was my birthday, February 23rd. Oh, really? That's right. I did wish you a happy birthday on Instagram. So I should know that. But yes, happy birthday. I should definitely have been like, oh yeah, that was like literally a few days ago. Um, I picture like, this is super spoiler, right? But here's how I like envisioned it originally. It might change when it gets to the peak. I feel like this might work. This might ruin it a little bit. Um, so when it gets to the peak where like Ingvar and Kazai are about to like go at it finally for the second time, um, Dr. Callan and Cynthia arrive on Fenrir. Um, and they warn Ingvar and Kazai that Kai is on the way and that they need to like put aside their differences or else Kai is going to destroy the whole planet. And then we have like a three-way dance, you know? Like that's what they call it in wrestling, but like um Ingvar, Kazai, and Kai have like a three-way fight. But I set it up in a way where like this is what I was planning anyway. I don't know if we'll actually do this, but I set it up in a way where like Dr. Callan gives them the means to contain the fight. Because like when Ingvar and Kazai fought each other, it almost destroyed the planet. Kai, whenever he's involved, he destroys the planet. So the three of them fighting, even if it's Ingvar and Kazai teaming up to fight Kai, um, Dr. Callan sets up this thing that's going to contain the fight, right? So then, like, Kai shows up, and right before he shows up, or right before he gets to, because he's basically there to stop Ingvar and Kazai from destroying the planet, which might happen when they fight each other. So Kai is actually there to fight Ingvar and Kazai or stop them, right? So everything's like aligned, and they're gonna fight no matter what. So before Kai even arrives, Ingvar, while they're contained in the space where they're supposed to fight Kai, is like, yeah, we'll totally fight them together. And then he like fights Kazai because it's like he finally gets him where he wants him, like where they could just settle their differences, you know. And and then Kai shows up, and then Ingvar's like, oh well, maybe we do need to team up to defeat Kai. So then I pictured it in my head where they're like fighting Kai and they're like struggling, and they're fighting Kai, right? This would be so much cooler if we could animate it. But they're fighting Kai and they're throwing their swords back and forth. So like if Ingvar's in trouble, Kazai throws him his sword and he can block any attack. You know, if an opening opens up for Kazai to attack Kai, Ingvar can throw him his sword, which could cut through anything. So it could cut through Kai's like metal casing and stuff. So like I always pictured it like working that way, where they kind of have to like share swords and fight Kai at the same time. But we'll see if we get that far or if I change anything. But that was how I always pictured it in my head. Exactly, the enemy of my enemy, as they say. I just like the idea of like Ingvar and Kazai like teaming up to fight somebody, but sharing their weapons depending on how the fight is going. Kai is that strong? Yeah, Kai is pretty much like the fantasy distractions Synthro, basically. He's that strong. Like he is the best fighter in the universe. But I mean, Ingvar and Kazai are also pretty OP. So like a 2v1 isn't as lopsided as you think, I guess. Yeah, this Sephiroth emojis. Or emotes. Jeez, emojis. Uh The finale idea I had for that fight is pretty insane too. Like individually, they're not on Kai's level. Together, it's a little more even, I guess. There's some other factors that come into play too. Right, yeah, like Ingvar versus Kai, like Ingvar would lose. I think Kazai has a better chance of surviving, but probably still not winning, just because he could block anything. But there's also some like stipulations to Kazai that like Ingvar is just a barbarian like brute, you know? So like he wouldn't have ways around it, but like Kai, who's like a cyborg from space, um would have ways to get around Kazai's like invincibility, if that makes sense. Well, damn, spoilers. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I might not actually do this, so honestly, I don't know if I would carry it out that way without animation. Like if we get to the point where we have animation, I can do stuff like that. I feel like it wouldn't work as well as me just explaining the fight. You know what I mean? But that's how I always pictured it going down in my head. Okay. All right, so this is the Maz and Kai stuff. Which even though I just explained Kai as being extremely like OP and he would like be able to beat Ingvar and Kazai individually, this is a this is more of a fight than you would expect it to be. I had to make it interesting, so I mean like Kai should probably just destroy Maz, but you'll see. I think it's written well. But it's told from Janine's character again. The girl that was in Transmissions at the end of Transmissions. And then in the Maz story. All right. This is Redbird, a silly, obvious, and much needed code name. I can't use my real name for this, not anymore. Galaxy Federation fired me after failing to hold my post. It was apparent how little they kept tabs on their employees when I returned home to find they didn't raid my place and remove their equipment. I quickly moved planets with their technology in my possession. I quickly moved planets with their technology in my possession as well as my old security key. Key helped me travel without anyone inspecting my luggage and finding the aforementioned tech. You're probably wondering why I'm even bothering filing this report if I got fired. This was my job for the Galaxy Federation, and I don't work for them anymore, so why go through the trouble? Well, after getting fired and moving, I thought about my time with the Federation. My one and only project while there was to track the cyborg Kai, the Starlight Samurai as people in the galaxy call him. Now that I think about it, having a code name myself makes me feel closer to him than I ever did before. The Starlight Samurai and Redbird. Could have made a cool TV show if the circumstances were different. Last I knew, a man named Maz was hunting down the Starlight Samurai and they were on a collision course for a planet called Oasis. It's a tropical vacation planet on the surface, but underneath there are a whole bunch of shady things going on. Maz set a trap for Kai, and that trap was sprung. The rest was radio silence. At least for me it was, since I got fired. I just couldn't let it go, though. How could I? This had become such a big part of my life. I had to know what was happening or what happened. I needed that closure. Kai's story had become an obsession of mine, not just a job. And Maz held me at gunpoint once, so it was a bit personal too. I set up the tech I had. This wasn't any ordinary tech, to be fair. I don't even know exactly how it works. This tech is next level. Only God knows where they found this stuff, and if we're being really honest, it's kind of creepy. These devices can pinpoint people's exact location and give you live camera feed into what's happening no matter where it is. I think some of the cameras float and are invisible. Who set up all these cameras? I ask myself that question every day. Anyway, to clear things up, the Galaxy Federation fired me on a technicality. It wasn't my fault my outpost got wiped out by Maz. And it's not my fault I couldn't stop him either. He's an intergalactic bounty hunter, a threat that Kai should have been assigned to long ago. It was a mistake on the Federation's part, though, for sure. I was really good at my job. I calculated as much as I could, pinpointing direct coordinates of where the trap Maz set was on Oasis. I have a good memory. Another reason they should have kept me. Unfortunately, this was days after that trap was sprung. It was likely the fight was over, and I would only find Maz's remains somewhere. But the fact Oasis was still standing gave me hope that the Starlight Samurai was still there. Excuse me. The final thing I reported to the Galaxy Federation was that Maz baited Kai into a large arena-like room, and that Maz and his henchmen set up for a showdown with the Starlight Samurai. As soon as I saw into the room leading to the arena, I remembered how personal the trap Maz set for Kai was. Images of his past missions, the more brutal ones, I'm sure Kai wishes he could forget. Images of the rare times Kai gets to experience peace and quiet, and images of a woman named Adriana, the only one I thought could get through to Kai and maybe get him out of this mess. I moved my way through the room and got a visual on the arena. Kai was there, all right. Bullet holes from Maz's men covered the floor of the makeshift arena, as did Maz's men. Bodies and limbs were strewn about all over the arena. The Starlight Samurai wasn't designed for pleasantries, that's for sure, and his self-defense program was unlike any we had ever seen in an android, let alone a cyborg. These bounty hunters did not stand a chance. I spent quite a while identifying the bodies that were identifiable, none of which matched Maz. Oddly enough, if I didn't know any better, there was no actual way to tell Kai was there either. They were clearly shooting at him, but it looked like no one landed a single shot on him. I didn't see pieces of Kai's casing, oil, or blood anywhere. The only thing that I assumed Kai did there was create a huge hole in the arena as if he sliced the whole building open with his katana so he could escape. Or maybe he was in pursuit of Maz. Either way, this opening confrontation could not have lasted long, and my search for answers continued further into Oasis. Since I was able to get the exact location of the trap, I missed the fact that Kai and Maz's battle definitely bled out to the rest of Oasis. Places that once were prime vacation spots were completely empty, and areas where they did battle were scattered about. I searched for a few minutes, unsuccessful in finding what I was looking for, and then I saw Maz. I was not expecting to find the bounty hunter before the Starlight Samurai. Maz stood on the roof of a building. He looked in good shape despite the fighting and in high spirits, a sick smile on his face as he smoked a cigar. I really went all in on the McCree, I guess. He had his gun in one hand, smoke was lingering from the barrel. Across from the building Maz was standing on were numerous downed buildings and a spacecraft. I assumed the people of Oasis were trying to escape what was happening on their planet. Just about everything was on fire, too. It was finally starting to look like the Starlight Samurai was in town. But where was Kai? Was he under the rubble? Did Maz's trick and traps extend to all of Oasis? Kai is fast. It must have been the perfect trap to catch him off guard. I searched the wreckage for Kai, but had no luck. So I tried to see what Maz would do next. As I turned my focus back to him, I saw his mouth open. The cigar barely hung on to his bottom lip. That's very anime, by the way. This reaction forced me back to the debris. I saw what Maz saw. A tear in the spacecraft mere moments before it split in two. A beam of light shot forth, and a strong gust of wind pushed Maz's hair back as a blast just barely missed him. I zoomed in as much as I could zoom, and there he was, the Starlight Samurai, battered and bloodied, ready to counterattack. Their fight is very anime. It's very like sci-fi anime of the 90s. This was a two-parter that I did to wrap up the Kai stuff right before we did the finale. And it was also supposed to be somebody else voicing Kai. That was my original plan. We were gonna have somebody else voice Kai. I was gonna do Maz. And that fell through last minute. and because we were on a time crunch before the finale, and I had everybody else working on recordings for the finale, I had to record it all myself. So I have to do both Maz and Kai in this in the one that we released on the channel. I want to watch this fight. I so wish we could animate it one day. It's so cool. You will have a cool series. Yeah, if we can if I get accepted to that app, maybe I could push maybe I can suggest or see if maybe I can do like a Kai one if they'll let me. And maybe we could get some of it animated that way. That'd be cool. All right, so this is the second part. The thing is called the Showdown in Oasis. The first part is Maz. So number 48 was Maz, the Showdown in Oasis part 1. And this one is Kai, the Showdown in Oasis part 2. I thought that was super clever when I did that. But it's a little behind the scenes for you. I was like, this is a great idea. The first one will be Maz. The second one will be Kai. All right, sorry. Anyway. But yeah, maybe I'll pitch that. That was the word I was looking for. Maybe I'll pitch that to them for the second story if they do take me. What's up, Luna? You know, I haven't listened to or watched the video for Hypa Hypa in a really long time. I gotta watch that. Maybe after stream. Still think that's clever. I mean, it was a pretty good idea. How you doing tonight, Luna? How's Genshin going? All right, so this is the second part of their showdown. This time, Maz was on the move. There's a lot more action in this one and some talking. Why are you upset with me? What did I do? I got you addicted to Genshin Impact? All right, here we go. This time, Maz was on the move, rushing through the tightest alleyways and through the largest buildings, desperately trying to get away. If that debris from before was dropped on the Starlight Samurai on purpose, it may have been Maz's last-ditch effort to stop Kai from getting to him because now everything felt like Maz was improvising. I'm sorry, Luna. I'm sorry. It is a good game, though, and you have so much to do. Just don't spend money, because then I'll feel bad. He rushed through one of the resorts, dashing around a pool and through a hotel. Everything was abandoned, so the residents must have known about this fight since it began. Maz rarely looked behind him to see if Kai was in pursuit, but one of the times he did, he ended up blindsided by the wall beside him crumbling. Through the rubble, Kai shot forward, his katana just grazing Maz's left arm as he tried to dodge. Instinctively, Maz leaned to his right and put his gun to Kai's chin, immediately pulling the trigger. Kai pulled his head back, lightning fast to dodge the bullet, and used his own momentum to strike Maz with his palm in Maz's chest. It's not a bad thing. No worries, can't spend money when you have no money. True. True. Okay. Maz rolled backwards and reached into one of his pockets. As he did before Kai could get to him, he dropped a device that put a blue force field between them, stretching as far as the walls, preventing Kai from getting through. Maz took the brief respite to catch his breath. So Maz being in italics and Kai being in bold is even more proof that it was supposed to be two different people voicing them and not me. Thank you, Kitty. Thank you. What I should do is blow my nose. I'm gonna blow my nose before I have to read two different characters. Because I feel the nasaliness. That drives me nuts. Give me 1 second. Alright. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it hurts. Who knows? How did it track me while I was drinking my water? Like, that isn't even an open bomb. It's not like... You guys have the best emotes. I don't know how you guys find all these good emotes. Alright. Alright. I gotta give it to you, Starlight Samurai. You're as tough as they say. I thought for sure that spaceship on your head would have been enough, but you're just full of surprises. Now I gotta do Kai. They're like completely two different people too, so it's like... As are you. Let's continue this fight later. You're wasting my time. You weren't the mission. No. No. You're not getting away that easy. I didn't do your job for you just to take a rain check. We're finishing this. Right here, right now. Maz pulled another device out of his pocket and pressed a button. This created a second force field on the other side of Kai, and the two began to converge on him. Kai immediately ran straight at the closest wall that didn't have a barrier on it, and ran right through with his shoulder. The moment he emerged on the other side, Maz was running beside him and taking shots with his gun. Kai put his arm and the casing on his forearm was Kai put up his arm and the casing on his forearm was enough to deflect the bullets that Maz was firing. Mid-run, Maz spun the barrel of his gun that clearly changed the type of bullets he was firing, because the next one that hit Kai's forearm stuck to it. Maz stopped short, a smile on his face as Kai also stopped moving to face him. After a few seconds, the bullet on his arm exploded, knocking Kai back. As he lay on the ground, the area where the explosion happened lit up with electricity. It was the first time I ever heard Kai cry out in pain as he held his arm. Maz spun his gun again and began firing multiple bullets in Kai's direction. Kai, still dealing with the pain in his arm, simply covered his face with his other hand, but none of the bullets hit him directly. Instead, Maz outlined his body with the bullets. Haven't felt pain in a long time, huh? I can tell. What's it like to be humbled by a lowly bounty hunter like me? I ain't even worthy to be on the Galaxy Federation's radar, even after destroying one of their outposts. Yet here I am, putting their dog on his knees. Get up. We ain't done yet. You took Ronka from me. That planet was mine. Kai slowly got up. This was a day of firsts. I'm pretty sure when I recorded this, I recorded all of Maz's lines, then all of Kai's lines. So going back and forth between the voices is not easy for me as a definitely not a voice actor. Kai slowly got up. This was a day of firsts. I had never seen Kai caged like this before. And then the Starlight Samurai went to move. Sorry. Kai slowly got up. This was a day of firsts. I had never seen Kai caged like this before either. Starlight Samurai went to move, but the bullets in the ground shot electricity up every time he tried to exit the outline Maz made. Nothing to say for yourself? Any thoughts in that empty metal head of yours? You think you're special? Huh? It dawned on me at this moment that Kai has been through so much since before I even started tracking him for the Galaxy Federation. I worked for the Federation for a long time, and Kai was a big part of my life, as I previously said. But he had been with the Galaxy He had been the Galaxy Federation's monster for much longer than that. I never saw Kai beaten and bloodied in this manner before. I've never seen him this hurt or in this much pain. I've never seen his life threatened to this degree. But who knows how many times this has happened to him. I can't say I condone what he's done or what he's doing, but there's a part of me that feels bad for him. Every time the Galaxy Federation gives me a mission, I don't know what horrible thing they're going to want me to do next. I don't know what animal they want me to put down. I don't know what animal they want me to put down. That was weird. I always tell myself, if they don't know I'm coming, this mission should be brief. And yet they always seem to know, or always have a plan ready in the event I show up on their doorstep. I watched in horror as Kai put his hand in the electrical field Maz set up, pieces of the casing on his fingertips peeling away as the electricity ripped him apart. One by one, he began removing the bullets in the ground. Maz took a step back each time Kai dropped one to the ground. I doubled down on ground here. I shouldn't have done that. It's okay, though. I've never been proud of the result. Whole planets gone. Whole civilizations destroyed. For me, it's nothing but painful memories until the Galaxy Federation tries to remove them from my head. Despite their efforts, so many of them linger. Maz, you can stun me temporarily. You can lock me in a cage. But the most consistent memory I have is that those planets, those civilizations, those people are dead, and I'm not. The next attack was instant, so fast that if I wasn't so enthralled with what I was seeing, I would have missed it. The slash from Kai's katana caught Maz in the chest, and his blood sprayed on the ground as Kai followed through with his katana. Kai went for a follow-up attack, but Maz still had one last surprise for the Starlight Samurai. Yet another device Maz pulled out from seemingly nowhere, and with a simple press of a button, I lost visual. It must have been a close-range flashbang of some sort, blinding everything within a certain radius. I quickly switched to a nearby view to see Maz boarding a ship. In the distance, I saw massive explosions all over Oasis, potentially another planet destroyed in Kai's wake. There was no driver in the ship, but it was rising into the air as Maz appeared on top of it. He began shouting down to Kai. A fitting end for the Starlight Samurai, don't you think? Kai put his katana to the side and gripped it tightly with both hands. He bent his legs and launched himself upwards out of sight from Maz, but still in my view. He tore straight through the bottom of the ship, slicing the ship's engine as he pushed through to the other side. He popped out and landed on top of the ship. Both Kai and Maz struggled to keep their footing as they plummeted to the ground. After the crash, Maz was laying on the edge of the ship, blood dripping off the edge from the wound Kai gave him earlier. Kai was face first on the ship. His injured fingers dug into the ship to keep him from falling off. Kai made it to his feet first, limping as he walked over to Maz. He grabbed the bounty hunter by his shirt and pulled him up. He placed the tip of his katana on Maz's forehead. A trickle of blood ran down to his nose. Do it. Put me out of my misery. I have nothing left. I'm not the demon you want me to be. You weren't the mission. Kai tightened his grip on the handle of his katana. I wasn't sure when the last time I experienced anything this intense. I thought about looking away before Kai could deliver the finishing blow. I did not take joy in watching this, but to my surprise, Kai let go of his grip on Maz and let him fall back onto the ship. He put down his katana and began walking away from Maz. At this moment, I guess the Galaxy Federation finally realized someone else was watching the feed, and they cut me off. Since I am treating this as my final report, I will say this in closing. Kai isn't a monster, a beast, or a demon. He isn't evil, and he isn't taking pride in what he's doing to these people or planets. After seeing him on his rare days off, I'm not surprised he spared Maz. The Galaxy Federation points their finger to a place on the map of the universe with a mission in mind, and Kai is just their tool to carry it out. Sure, the blood is on his hands, but the true enemy of us all is the Federation itself. I pray that one day someone severs the chains that bind the Starlight Samurai to the Galaxy Federation, and maybe he could save us from the real monsters that made him what he is. Do it. This would be a good video. Yeah, so these are both, we have these as recordings, but no animation, obviously. But yeah, they are, thank you for the applause. 48 and 49 are these two stories. So we have the recordings you can listen to. Janine did the narration, and it's awesome. I did Maz a lot better than I just did him now, and Kai for those. But I recorded them like separately, so it was a lot easier. But So if you wanted to listen to them as they originally came out, they're 48 and 49. Okay. Did it not play the second applause? Yeah. It's easier for me to just record them separately, you know? Like if I record all of Maz's lines and then all of Kai's lines, and then edit them together, it's way easier than me like bouncing back and forth between them. Because like I said, I wasn't supposed to voice both. So I had to do it. I could probably replay it. Hold on. I could save this. I'm the hero that we need. Or something. Whatever the Batman quote is. You know what I mean? Hold on, we got this. It's actually queued. How do I make it play? I can replay as long as this thing doesn't crash again. How do I make it play? I just don't get why so like there's an option to skip all queued alerts. There's an option to cancel the alert. And there's an option to replay the alerts that already played. How is there not like a play this one that's queued? Right? Am I crazy? I'll just replay Mistrals. Dude, tell me this thing. How'd I fix it last time? Shoot. How'd I fix it last time? Now everything is queuing and not playing. I don't remember how I fixed this last time. Sound alerts. Oh, I did like a yeah, here we go. It started, but it did one clap.
Wow.
Okay, wow worked. It did one clap. Did you guys hear that? It was like the start of it, and then it just stopped. The hero this city needs. Cue bat signal. See? That's me. Let me try. How about now? All right. Now I know how to fix that when that happens. And it will happen again because this is my stream we're talking about. I got this one piece of hair sticking up right here. It's driving me crazy. Come on, hair. It's probably caught in my headset. Come on, hair. I'm making it worse. Static electricity. Outplayed. Static electricity just built different. All right, once again, the day is saved. See? I could be Batman. All right, so then I released this thing called Maz Final Resting Place. I think the Starlight thing that we're going to listen to came out first. But I think storyline, like timeline-wise, this would be first. Rip the flip. My hair is getting pretty long. I'm debating if I want to cut it. I think I'm going to go for the... I don't know if you guys remember when I had... the side shaved and like a little bit of a mullet going on. I was trying to go for either Nyx, I think the name of the character is, or Gladio from Final Fantasy 15, but human hair cannot do those things. without like wigs and or a lot of like hairspray. But I kind of like that look. I might go back to it while I still have hair. You don't remember that? I have a picture of it for sure. Hold on. I could show you. You guys tell me if I should do this or not. Very important. It's like a faux hawk, yeah. I think I had it for my sister's wedding. Actually.
Hello there.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Did I hide my okay. Yeah, what's up, Monsword? I gotta go dig this out of Facebook real quick. Hold on. What's up, Monsword? How you doing, man? Photos. I take some pretty obnoxious hair photos. Yeah, I feel you, Monsword. I feel you. Yeah, I should show you guys some of these photos. It's on my Facebook, so it's not like anything like, oh my god. The FF15 event on 14 starts tomorrow. Nice. I think I did everything for that event, unless there's new stuff. You guys ready for this? I don't know if you guys are ready. Okay. Basic hair. I apologize for my ugly face. Don't know what's going on here. Don't know what's going on here either. I'm actually like clean shaven there. I really like these glasses, but they bothered my head. These were like Gunners. I don't know if you guys remember when I was rocking the Sephiroth's picture, of course. Of course, the Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Tinder, Cloud meme. Gotta have it, right? It's closer to this style. this is perfect for what I'm trying to show you guys, but just another chance to get the car. Okay, the car I actually have. Yeah, like probably more along the lines of like this. Just random bathroom selfies. You guys are welcome for those. I have it in this picture too, but you can't see it. Probably closer to this than this. This is when my hair was really long. Jeez. Like I got like a man bun going on in this picture. Which haircut should I go back to? I don't have the only one not pictured is the really long one because I don't think I had grown that out yet. I'm probably gonna sit. My legs are killing me, but we're going down, chat. We're going down. What do we think? Do I go back? Like if I had to choose, it's the middle right. It's trippy. I'm sorry. I should probably just switch scenes when we do that, so you guys don't have to live through that. First of all, my hair is insane right here. Like, what is the... How do I even get it to go up that high? I mean, I guess it's pretty high here too, but this was just like a joke photo. This is like legitimately my hair at the time. Yeah, if I were to go back to anything, it would be this one. Right here. The one on the right. Middle right. I don't know if you guys could see my cursor, but middle right. There's another one I should show you guys. So yeah, see, I was trying to go for like this. Hawkeye with the faux hawk. Where's the other one I saw? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, right here. What do you guys think? Should I go for this? Katsu said top right. I'll have to go back and look at top right. Oh. NATO has now given Ukraine the green light to attack Russia directly, and France plans to send ground personnel to help them. It's such a mess, dude. Just try to stay safe over there, Monster Lord. What do you guys think? I look like this guy. Katsu said top right. This one, where just like my hair like all the way spiked up. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this guy. Armpit hair. Hasn't shaved in weeks like I currently am. This isn't too bad. This is like me starting to go for it, but wait, not that one? Is that not top right for you guys? Hold on. Which one did Akatsu say? Maybe I'm behind one moment. You think my hair is fine as it is now, Monster Lord? Thanks, man. Thanks. Makes me feel good. It's a little out of control. Like for me to just like handle, but like I don't think it like looks bad necessarily. Yes, the spiky, no to the other picture. Okay. Oh, to the yeah, that one was just a joke. Oh, not this one. Dang. Posing like a model. Yeah, that one was just a joke. Okay. My hair is like out of control in some of these pictures. Yeah, no, definitely not this one. This one was just a joke. I like woke up like this, and I immediately thought of this guy right here. Yeah, the front of my hair just does what it wants. I'm looking at this. Jeez. Oh my god. Wow. Early. Look at this Hearthstone streamer, guys. Guys, remember when I stream Hearthstone? Yeah, me neither. I'm getting derailed here. Here my hair is kind of getting long. This was like before the flip hair, I believe. Oh, maybe I was doing the flip hair. Look at this mustache. Never again, bro. Never again. Look at this. Never again. Add a little curl. I was sinister. You cut Akatsu's hair the other week. Nice. Yeah, so like the guy who did the haircut I want to go back to. He is closer to my old house, and I'm debating if I want to Dr. Disrespect. I'm debating if I want to go back, like drive over there just to get my haircut from the guy who cut it this way. But I found like this place around here that I didn't really like hate necessarily. I don't know. I either take a chance and see if that person can cut my hair the same way as the guy that I know can cut it, or I just go get it cut by him because I know he'll do it the way that I want. I don't know. It's something to think about. All right. Okay. It's already 2, which is crazy how fast I went. But we're still gonna read these, I think. 1, 2, 3. These are kind of short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're gonna listen to one that me and Jake recorded. Take a chance, maybe it'll be better than you think. Yeah, it was a girl that cut my hair over here, and she was really, really cool. So like I kinda wanna go back to her and see if she can hook it up. Cause I mean like it's like a weird, if I ask for it and like show her pictures of like Gladio or something, she might just be like, okay, that's weird. But if I just tell her like a faux hawk kind of thing, I'm sure it'll be like, I'm sure people come in and ask for that. She probably knows how to already cut that, so it should be fine. I'm still undecided if I want to get it cut at all, so we'll see what happens. So this was a story I released like way after the fact. We did end up releasing this. I almost did not release this one. This one is here. We released this exactly a year ago, or about a year ago. This was one of the first videos I released in 2023, I guess. So this one is there, but we're gonna read it anyway. Okay, so this one is called Maz Final Resting Place. So this kind of like wraps up the Maz and Kai stuff, or does it? Okay, here we go. 2 Galaxy Federation members walked along the remnants of the planet Oasis. It was once a peaceful planet and a perfect vacation spot. That is until the Starlight Samurai arrived in pursuit of a bounty hunter named Maz. Maz and his followers set up a trap for the Starlight Samurai, and the battle that ensued left Oasis in shambles. The 2 Galaxy Federation members coming here today were the truly unlucky ones, sent to clean up the Starlight Samurai's mess. The masks the Galaxy Federation employees wear hide their faces, making it difficult to identify them, but code names engraved on their chest armor allow you to differentiate them. These 2 were named Marlowe and Becca. Marlowe walked with a large bag over his shoulder, constantly looking back and forth as they navigated through the debris. Becca had a small device in her hand that would make a crackling noise every once in a while. Whoever they caught spying on this fight sure got one hell of a show, Marlowe broke the silence. Becca held the device over a part of the ground decorated with bullet holes. How can only 2 men be responsible for so much carnage? Marlowe stopped short and let out a sigh. Are you tired already? Asked Becca. We just got here. Tired of these missions, said Marlowe. How many times have we had to swoop in and do damage control on one of the Starlight Samurai's missions? You think they would ever send Jackal to do this? Becca ignored Marlowe's complaints and kept walking. They would never send Jackal because he's too busy trying to fix the galaxy. To be fair, I think he cleans up more of Kai's messes than we do. It's just more big picture for him than just cleaning up the aftermath of Kai's destruction. Marlowe laughed. Here I was thinking you were the more professional one. You refer to him as Kai regularly now? A lot of people call him Kai now. It's way easier than calling him the Starlight Samurai all the time. Come on, the ship's up ahead. Marlowe and Becca made their way up to a spaceship that had been torn in half. There was this strange atmosphere about it that resonated with the device Becca was holding. Dried blood made a trail to the vessel. Becca put her scanner away and revealed a compartment in the forearm of her armor. A small device popped out, and she threw it at the ship. The device expanded and formed a ladder for them. They both made their way up, but at the top of the ship they didn't find what they were looking for. Did you put the coordinates in wrong? Asked Marlowe, once again looking around, but this time more frantically. No, this is the spot. Becca looked down at a part of the ship that was covered in blood. Maz's body is gone. This one is super short. I mean, it's like a page and a paragraph, like most of the stories I wrote at this time. But this honestly should have been like an epilogue, like a little add-on to the showdown stuff. I think that would have been better. All right, this next one I'm gonna mute myself and we're gonna listen to. Because me reading it isn't gonna do it justice, and me and Jake recorded it, and I'm pretty happy with the recording, so listening we will go. This one actually got 115 views. Let me hide this. Mute myself. All right, I'll be right back after it's over. It's only 6 minutes long. Exactly 6 minutes on the dot. The eastern region of the planet Polve was a vast desert, ravaged by sandstorms so severe those living on Polve could not even survive. Therefore, the deserts were abandoned and not a single organism passed through it. An unfortunate location to get stranded, no doubt, but one of the Galaxy Federation's soldiers crashed on Polve a few days ago. No one could figure out how to rescue them without risking more Galaxy Federation soldiers. Sometimes I wonder if they forget that they have a cyborg that can easily survive where most normal life in the galaxy could not. The truth of the matter is this. The Galaxy Federation would normally rather let one of their own die than waste my time sending me to a random planet on a rescue mission. Those higher in the chain of command at the Federation would consider this mission beneath me. Something has changed. Ever since I returned from Oasis, the Federation has loosened their leash on me. They didn't erase my memories. They didn't scold me for settling a personal vendetta. Not that it was my choice to fight that fight in the first place. But choosing what I can and cannot do has never been allowed. Until now. It is a strange feeling. Freedom. I still don't feel as if I can leave the Galaxy Federation without permission, but I heard of this stranded soldier on the planet Polve and asked if I could help. I assumed I would be turned down, or the moment word of my intentions reached the ears of any of the commanders, that it would immediately be shut down. But no one denied my help on the mission. Either this person is more important than anyone let on, or they no longer mind if I choose my own missions for a while. If that's the case, then I want more missions like this one. They might not see a single soldier worth the effort to rescue them, but if it's within my power to save a life, then I have to at least try. Sounds weird, and I don't know if it's past memories finding their way back into my mind, but I consider these soldiers my family. I don't know where I'm from or the family I actually belong to, but this is all I have. I see my destination in the distance, and with my scanner I can tell the ship has been stuck in the sand for days, sinking into the planet. The metal door is standing between me and one of my stranded brothers.
Static. I know the distorted noise in my comms all too well. It's all I've had to listen to for the last few days. Right before I went down, I tried to send an emergency beacon to the Federation, but I'm not sure it got through. Even if it did, I know how they operate. They won't see me as important enough to rescue. You would think years of service would entitle me to more, that maybe, just maybe, they would make the attempt to save a life. I think this hate and my lack of rations is making me delusional. It's not like the Galaxy Federation doesn't have the resources. They control outposts all over space. If just a hint of my beacon went out, someone had to pick it up. All those scientists with fancy degrees and near limitless technology at their fingertips, and no one can figure out how to pull me out of this miserable planet. Not to mention the Starlight Samurai and all the other monstrosities they're cooking up in their lab. Something has to be able to get through this weather. Every soldier in the Federation has a code name, and I'm no different. Phantom is the one they gave me, because when I graduated from the academy, I excelled in all stealth operations. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I was so good at hiding that now they can't even find me once I'm off-grid. Nah, That can't be it. The Galaxy Federation has eyes everywhere. Even if my beacon didn't reach anybody, they had to see my ship go down. Whatever. I'm as good as dead. I've been staring at the door of my ship for days, drinking any and all alcohol I have left on this ship. What's this one? Fresh Marriott. From Dieter. A destroyed planet, courtesy of the Starlight Samurai. I guess I drink in their memory tonight. Maybe some of them will greet me in the afterlife. Can't help but think that this is what irony tastes like. Sitting here drinking the only gift left from a planet destroyed in the Starlight Samurai's wake, praying that the monster himself comes to save me before I expire. Wait, is that noise coming from outside? Am I not sunken down anymore? How could I have not felt the movement? Kai?
I was laughing so hard at Fire Emblem. Let me fix the volume of my thing. Thank you for the applause. That one is so good, man. Jake obviously killed it. I did okay. I don't remember making the background where it was like moving like that with the stars and the like thing in the middle. Also, I had the cards in there when he mentions he mentions Oasis for the first time, and it pops up a link to the showdown in Oasis. I mentioned Dieter. That's where the drink came from, and I had the little link on the top to transmissions. I do all that stuff. It doesn't turn into any views or anything, but gosh darn it, I try my hardest. Fire Emblem? Okay, so then these are the stories that I wrote that were supposed to come. So this is why like it's number 2, but I honestly don't even know if I'm gonna release these. I might try to make the Galaxy Federation stories more in line with the one we just listened to, rather than these, and then maybe make these something different entirely. But this first one is called Codename Delilah. These are all relatively short. Some of them are longer than the ones we've been reading. Like this one's 3 pages, but some of them I made a little longer. I'm gonna have to get up at some point to get a drink because I finished my water and my soda. I'm gonna have to get up at some point. But here we go. The Galaxy Federation was formed many centuries ago as expansion into space grew exponentially. The need for a group of people tasked with overseeing the galaxy was important and crucial in order for that expansion to continue. However, careful planning was necessary to ensure the soldiers working for the Galaxy Federation were given a safe work environment and that their family would be protected. Carrying out the laws enforced by the Federation meant potential danger, and these precautionary measures would limit the damage done. The soldiers themselves were fitted with armor that covered their entire bodies. The technology on Inservio, the planet where the main Galaxy Federation headquarters was located, was the best in the galaxy. Therefore, the means in which to create these suits of armor for the soldiers was top of the line and included circuitry the likes of which no other planet had seen before. While this made infiltrating and acquiring this tech very desirable for outside parties, it was near impossible to assault Inservio, as this advanced technology was also used for security. To challenge the Galaxy Federation, soldiers were proud to work for the Galaxy. Each soldier used a code name to protect their identity and often hid their faces even at HQ, though keeping your helmet on when at home base wasn't required. One of these soldiers, codenamed Delilah, had been working for the Galaxy Federation for over 3 years. She entered the academy, which was handled off-world, before being transferred to Inservio at the young age of 18. There she met the woman that would become her best friend, a woman codenamed Rose. Together, Delilah and Rose impressed at the academy and quickly garnered the attention of their peers and the higher-ranked officers. This praise for their abilities in the academy would unfortunately not carry over to the Federation. For the last 3 years, they were given tasks considered to be the worst, most tedious, and boring. This had nothing to do with their abilities. In fact, both of them were more qualified than most. But for reasons they could not figure out, they continued to get these jobs. Delilah was the type of person to respect the process and try to find understanding for the situations that they were being put in. She would often say that their time will come to take on the more important missions, and she truly believed that their loyalty to the Federation had not gone unnoticed. Rose, however, was the opposite. She took these menial missions as an insult and felt disrespected, mistreated, and underused. She had seen Delilah's hard work in the academy, and now within the Galaxy Federation being ignored, and she herself graduated top of their class. Rose expressed her feelings to Delilah in HQ, and decided she was going to confront the commanding officer assigned to their station. Delilah pleaded with her to reconsider, and attempted to talk Rose out of it, but Delilah was unsuccessful. Just as Rose opened the door to defend their honor, she stopped in the doorway. Delilah could tell Rose was fixated on something, or someone in particular. She got up and joined her friend at the door. That was the first time either of them had seen the Starlight Samurai in person. The Starlight Samurai was one of the only soldiers in the Galaxy Federation whose name wasn't a secret, most likely for convenience, although the name most people used to speak to him, Kai, could have also been a code name now that Delilah thought about it. Standing beside him was Jackal, another famous soldier atop the ranks of the Galaxy Federation. Delilah and Rose had seen him rarely over the last 3 years, so he wasn't quite as elusive as Kai. Speaking to them was Delilah and Rose's commanding officer, another rare face to see in their station, codenamed Lady Orange. She rarely left her office, and it was rumored that most of the time she wasn't even on Inservio. Where she would go off to on the Galaxy Federation's behalf was a mystery, but if she was there to talk to Kai and Jackal, then this mission must be important. Delilah's own thoughts on the situation came to a sudden stop when Lady Orange locked eyes with her and Rose. She waved them over. As if she could read Rose's mind, Lady Orange said, I hope you two are overdoing the boring jobs around here. You two will be accompanying Jackal and Kai on their next mission. Do you think you two can handle that? Delilah was standing behind Rose, but she could picture the smile on her face. Rose answered for them both. For both of them. We've been waiting a long time for this opportunity. We won't let you down. I end a lot of stories with "we won't let you down" for some reason. I'll probably change that if we release this. Alright, this is called Galaxy Federation Miniseries number 3, Frozen Elmara. The ride to the planet Elmara was a quiet one. Rose drove the spaceship they used for transportation, while Delilah, Jackal, and Kai, the Starlight Samurai, sat in the back. Delilah was nervous and much more introverted than Rose, so she was not going to speak unless spoken to. Jackal had a small device with a screen in front of him that he would push every once in a while, before raising his hand to his chin, deep in thought. Delilah focused mainly on Kai. It was rare to see the Starlight Samurai, and she was fascinated by him. However, there wasn't much to see while traveling together, as Kai kept his eyes closed. She wondered if he was sleeping, or if he even needed sleep as a cyborg to begin with. The ship landed, and Jackal was the first to get up. Let's go, he said through his helmet. Rose parked the ship and joined Delilah as the two exited the vehicle. Kai walked out behind them. Where Rose parked the ship on Elmara was a field that seemed to be far off from civilization, but either way it was hard to tell. The planet was completely covered in snow and ice. Delilah had done some research prior to leaving the HQ of the Galaxy Federation. Elmara had been renamed to Frozen Elmara because an alien attack left the planet's atmosphere in shambles, resulting in the cold climate. The reason for this mission is that the Galaxy Federation has found out that there's a way to fix the climate, and the Galaxy Federation is capable of doing it themselves. Thus, they are sending their group here to help fix the climate. The four Galaxy Federation soldiers traveled for a bit, once again in silence, before reaching a town. Right before they entered, Jackal turned to face them. "We're not far from the town hall. We'll go there first. I will do the talking. Afterwards, we will split up into two groups to place the beacons to signal the rest of the Galaxy Federation crew here to help us stabilize the planet's climate. Understood?" Delilah and Rose nodded. The four soldiers entered the town, and as they walked through, Delilah made sure to look around at their surroundings. To her surprise, there were many people outside in this cold weather. Some had backpacks filled with tech, others had tiny devices planted in the snow that created red force fields providing heat. She was mostly surprised by how little clothing they were wearing and just the overall feeling of warmth around her. The Galaxy Federation's standard armor they were provided would be enough to keep her from freezing, but she almost felt like there was no need for the adjustments to temperature. As they walked up the steps to the town hall, she was glad to know that these people weren't suffering, but she was sure they would appreciate them coming to fix the climate, so they wouldn't need to worry about using the tech and devices to manipulate the weather. She was wrong. Perhaps the everyday citizens of Elmara would appreciate the gesture, but those running the planet would not. They stood before a human man named Alrin. His position in Elmara was that of Prime Minister. Mr. Jackal, was it? The Prime Minister was not the leader of the whole planet, but you could tell he held a higher position than most. I'm sure you saw the faces of the people of Elmara outside. They are happy. They are warm, and most importantly, they are safe. Why would we jeopardize our current way of living on a hunch that the Galaxy Federation could fix our climate? Delilah surveyed the room. They weren't the only ones in armor there, as the Prime Minister had a group of guards gathered to defend against any threats. Those same guards moved slightly as Jackal got closer to where the Prime Minister was standing. "With all due respect, Prime Minister, why suffer if you don't have to? What happened to your planet all those years ago left the atmosphere in a bad state, but with our new technology we can fix that." Jackal took out that small device he was fiddling with on the way here. "I have proof that there is no risk and no danger whatsoever with the method we have created. If you let me upload this tech to your systems, it will not only fix the climate, but also make your planet one of the first to be prepped for any new Galaxy Federation tech created in the future. Elmara will be leagues ahead of most in the galaxy. And would that bring with it great fortune?" The Prime Minister was the one to walk closer now as he tried to see what was on the device Jackal was holding without getting too close. "We live in a prosperous time despite the weather, Jackal. There's more risk here than you are aware of. If I let you upload to our computers, then who knows what the Galaxy Federation will be able to access. We know you're up to some shady business as much as you claim to be protecting the galaxy. Your dog is proof of that." Jackal looked behind him at Kai, then back at the Prime Minister. "Kai has been helping protect the galaxy." "The Starlight Samurai is a menace," responded the Prime Minister. "Are you all turning a blind eye to Oasis?" Jackal put the device away. "Prime Minister Alrin, I assure you Oasis was an accident. Bounty hunters set a trap for Kai and ambushed him. And yet he still found a way to destroy half the planet. I guess only destroying half is an upgrade. Usually he leaves nothing left." Rose couldn't help herself. She was definitely not as introverted as Delilah. "I think that's enough deflecting, Prime Minister." Jackal tried to quiet her. "Rose, please let me do the talking." "No," said Alrin. "Let her speak. What am I deflecting from, Rose?" "I saw the devices, all this warming tech outside." Rose walked a bit closer so she was standing just off to the side and behind Jackal. "You said the planet was prosperous, but these people on Elmara aren't living in luxury by any means. Cold weather limits the potential of the planet and its people. The only ones profiting from the climate are those in charge." Alrin shook his head. "Those are strong allegations, soldier. If we warm the planet, you can't sell those devices and the tech anymore. The only risk you're running is less money in your pocket." As Rose spoke, the guards got closer. Jackal sighed. "If that's true, Prime Minister, then you don't have anything to worry about. The tech we'll be providing that will come along with the upload we're performing for the beacons will give you an edge over most planets in the galaxy. You will have plenty of money-making opportunities to make up for the losses this climate fix will create. You'll probably come out of this richer than before. Prime Minister thought about Jackal's words for a few moments, then raised his arm to stop his guards from acting. Fine. Upload your tech, place your beacons, then leave us a way to communicate with you as the process is completed. I want you four off the planet as quickly as possible. Every second the Starlight Samurai is here, we risk complete annihilation. Rose was about to defend Kai, but Jackal spoke to them before she could. You three wait outside. I'll do the upload and meet you back at the ship. Shady business. I need to get a water, hold on. Ugh. Okay. I don't know why I'm putting names in parentheses. I was so sure we would have people voicing different characters in this too. So I guess that's why I did it. I don't know what it is about the fridge in the basement compared to the fridge we have upstairs. It makes everything so cold. This water, I'm surprised it's not ice, dude. Like, this water is so cold. Okay, anyway. Alright, we got 1, 2. We'll do the Ruby Light one, and then that'll probably be it. Then we'll be streaming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for like all of March. I'm gonna miss you, Mistral. I know you're not gonna watch those streams because you don't want spoilers, but I'm gonna miss you. Alright. Delilah and Rose were walking back to the ship they used to get to Elmara. Kai, the Starlight Samurai, was walking beside them. I have to call him the Starlight Samurai at the start of every story, and then I don't do it for the rest, but Kai, the Starlight Samurai, was walking beside them. It's not right, you know, said Rose, breaking the silence. They shouldn't treat you like that. They have every right to be afraid of me, replied Kai. The stuff I've done on the Galaxy Federation's behalf is something that should concern them. I was gonna say the same thing to you. I know, I feel bad, but we'll probably blow through it pretty quick. So maybe it won't be as long as we think. But you're just following orders. Plus that stuff on Oasis wasn't even your fault. That was Rose. This is Kai. They don't see it that way. They continued to walk in silence. Surprisingly, Delilah broke at this time. Is this your first mission with other soldiers, Kai? I don't remember ever hearing anyone say they went on one with you before. I will miss you all and hope you all take care. No worries. Take your time to enjoy it. Dude, like, I'm gonna try so hard to stream like at earlier and different times too when I do that, because I'm not gonna be able to wait until the night to play more. So hopefully my family doesn't need me too much. It is. Lady Orange felt it might help fix my reputation after everything that happened on Oasis. Rose. What really happened there, if you don't mind me asking? They say bounty hunters ambushed you, but they had to be pretty strong to put you in the infirmary. Kai. They had history with me from a planet called Alten. Details on that mission are a bit hazy for me, so I don't really know what I did to drive them to set a trap for me. They were skilled. They had information they should not have had. I did what I had to do. I think this is actually Ronka. I'm just going to put Ronka in parentheses. Delilah, you killed them? All of them? It was common for the Galaxy Federation to erase Kai's memories, but ever since the incident on Oasis, they stopped doing that. Memories of his past missions are confusing and a bit scattered, hence why he doesn't remember Alten very well. But the battle on Oasis he remembers very clearly. Delilah's words immediately made Kai think about how he let nature decide if Maz lived or died. I did, he lied. Rose and Delilah decided not to ask any more questions. When they finally got near their ship, they saw smoke coming out of it. Rose and Delilah rushed over to find that the wires inside the ship had been cut, and parts of the outside were damaged. Suddenly, they all heard Jackal in their communication devices. We have a problem. They don't want us leaving, he said. You sound awfully calm, answered Rose. They sabotaged our ship, too. What do you want us to do? They tried to attack me, but I managed to get out of the town hall. I'm safe inside a local abandoned house at the moment. I'm sending you my coordinates. Rose, do you think you can get to me without Kai and Delilah? I can, replied Rose. What do you want Kai and me to do? Asked Delilah. Without our ship, we'll need a way off the planet. The only way to reach the Galaxy Federation now is to set up those beacons they are determined to kill us over. Rose will get to me and we'll set up one. I need you two to set up the other. If you're met with any resistance, eliminate them. Eliminate them. This one is codename Rose. I think the last one was just called Stranded. I forgot to read that, but I'm pretty sure it was just called Stranded. Rose walked slowly through the part of the planet frozen Elmara that Jackal's coordinates brought her to. Exterminate. She needed to be ready for anything, so she activated a heat signature setting on her Galaxy Federation helmet. The irony of using it on a planet with an icy climate wasn't lost on her, but she didn't have time to think about it. She removed a pistol from the holster around her waist and walked with extra caution as she approached the abandoned building Jackal mentioned. The Prime Minister's guards must have known Jackal was inside, but they must not have known if the Starlight Samurai was here or coming here because they didn't go in. Instead, they fortified their units outside the building with every intention of waiting for Jackal and whoever was with him to come out. From where she was standing, Rose could see at least 3 guards behind her, between her and the building, but it was hard to tell if any were on the other side. Rose and Delilah graduated top of their class in the Galaxy Federation's training academy, so she had a few options on how to proceed. She could stealth her way over to the building using the frozen climate to her advantage, but she had to assume that the guards were equipped with tech that could help them navigate this weather better than she could. One of her other options would be to brute force her way in, a much more fun tactic and one she could accomplish assuming there weren't that many guards on the other side. Want to read the first episode of Venzer's miniseries? Sure. Oop, wait, sorry, clears out Fire Emblem? You say Fire Emblem twice and only Fire Emblem twice in one stream, and look what happens. She opted for a little bit of both. Rose snuck over to the far side of the building to try to get more intel on the number of guards. She noticed 2 more on the other side of the building. By pressing a button on the side of her weapon, she activated a silencer and patiently waited for the guards to separate. A single shot brought one down, and she immediately moved her position before someone discovered the body. As another guard approached the first one, she dropped him with a single shot as well. However, she was not prepared for the guard to fall the way he did, and he crashed into some canisters that were on the side of the building. The noise startled the other guards, and they quickly rushed over. Instead of fighting them all right then and there, Rose slipped back to the other side of the building and made her way inside. Jackal was positioned by a nearby window, most likely doing the same reconnaissance that Rose was. Okay, I'll check it out. I have one more of these to read after this, and then I'll end the stream with it. Okay. Nice shooting, said Jackal. Your file did say you were top of your class. I try to make every shot count, Rose replied with a smile hidden by her helmet. How do you want to handle the rest? Excuse me. Jackal started to make his way toward the way Rose came in. She followed. We don't need to deal with the rest if we move out the way you came in. It's actually in this direction we have to go to set up the beacon. If we can make it seem like we're both still here to buy us some time, that'll work just as well. Rose simply nodded and followed Jackal out toward the beacon location. He knelt down and began making preparations. With all this snow, it might take some time, said Jackal. I'm going to need you to cover me if our friends realize we're no longer in that building. Through the snowy weather, it was hard to see, but Rose's helmet allowed her to make out some lights in the distance. Something is approaching from that direction. Rose had her gun at the ready, but their new problem came from behind them. The Prime Minister had access to Elmara's military personnel, and they finally arrived. Large robots, tanks, and other vehicles modified to navigate the snow started to pull up and surround them. Jackal stood up and backed up, raising his arms in surrender. Rose was stubborn, but she knew they couldn't fight their way out of this one. She placed her gun down in the snow and raised her arms as well. "What do we do now?" she asked quietly. Jackal's concern wasn't for their own safety. "We pray we can salvage this planet before Kai comes to destroy it." I don't know if it'll be the quality I want, so hearing it will probably help a lot. Okay. We'll check it out. We will check it out. All right, so this was meant to be like a standalone one. This one's 5 pages. And then we'll read the one Jake sent me. Jake's is technically like a continuation of a fantasy distraction that he wrote. Kind of getting more and more interesting. Yeah, I like the idea of them just like not telling him why, but just letting him keep his memories all of a sudden, and him like starting to interact with other soldiers and stuff. Yeah, I think she was talking about the Venzer one. But yeah, the Venzer one's like a mini series that's a continuation of a story that Jake wrote and read on the channel. Which I guess we should listen to for context, maybe. This is called Ruby Light Reaver Built for War. This is supposed to be like Kai adjacent. The Galaxy Federation had the great. This is unreleased. We never released this anywhere. The Galaxy Federation had the greatest scientist, the greatest doctor, and the greatest creative genius all rolled into one when Dr. Callan was under their employ. She was the mastermind behind Project Starlight, a series of experiments that would lead to the Galaxy Federation's strongest weapon, a cyborg known as Kai, the Starlight Samurai. As Dr. Callan became enamored by her own creation and her relationship with Kai became too personal, the Galaxy Federation would show their true colors. Loyalty meant nothing to them, and despite how much Dr. Callan offered them in her skills, they felt it necessary to part ways with her in order to keep the Starlight Samurai to themselves. Since then, many scientists around the universe have tried to replicate Dr. Callan's success. Even Dr. Callan herself tried to create another Kai, which proved more difficult without the Galaxy Federation's resources. Galaxy Federation found a man frozen in time inside an abandoned cargo ship. This man became the perfect specimen for the creation of the Starlight Samurai. Dr. Callan designed him to be the perfect soldier, able to carry out any mission the Galaxy Federation needed him to do, but the missions they sent him on were far more dangerous than Dr. Callan anticipated. The aftermath of Kai's missions sometimes led to entire planets and civilizations being completely destroyed, and often the Galaxy Federation would wipe Kai's memory without telling Dr. Callan. After our departure from the Galaxy Federation, Dr. Callan managed to find another specimen, and her second cyborg, Cynthia, the Gemlight Paladin, was born. Though not on the galaxy's radar as much as Kai, Cynthia quickly became known around the universe as a helpful warrior who seemingly showed up out of nowhere in a planet's most dire moments. Dr. Callan was careful in her assignments for Cynthia in an effort to not have her overlap with Kai's missions for the Federation. Cynthia wasn't ready for that confrontation yet, and Dr. Callan still didn't want them to engage with each other. While Dr. Callan wanted nothing more than to subdue Kai and fix him, she did not want to risk either of her cyborgs' lives in the process. What Dr. Callan didn't know is that there would be a new threat to both Cynthia and Kai's well-being. Somewhere out in the galaxy's farthest regions, a scientist named Matthias would crack Dr. Callan's code. Obsessed with Callan and her experiments, as well as having an unhealthy infatuation with the Starlight Samurai, Matthias cut corners that Dr. Callan would never dare cut. While both Kai and Cynthia's experiments would be personal life-changing experiences for Dr. Cowan, Matthias would use just about any specimen he could get his hands on, most of which were criminals. While Dr. Cowan made sure the experiments would not end the lives of her specimens, Matthias did not care if they died on the operating table, and many would die on his way to find the perfect specimen. That is until he found the one. Ironically, one of his least promising subjects would go on to help him achieve his goals. A woman with long red hair, cuts all over her body and limbs already missing. Apparently, she got hit by a factory explosion, which also left her body covered in unrecognizable chemicals and burns. When the men Matthias hired to retrieve the bodies for his experiments laid her down on his table, he questioned how she was even still alive. What chemicals were involved in this explosion that could help her sustain life with such injuries? Perhaps it was magic or some godlike intervention. In the event this extended life was temporary, Matthias could not seek those answers out yet. Instead, he had to get to work. Every time Matthias attempted to replicate Dr. Cowan's success, he learned something new about how she could have pulled it off. These experiences throughout his constant experimentation helped him deconstruct what could have been the way she did it. This woman, battered, bruised, and dying on the table in front of him, forced him to rush his tests and experiments. He would normally prep the specimen and plan his steps, but there was no time. He acted quickly, hoping that repetition was his greatest ally, and that the moments where he would change what he's done in the past would work. It was a shot in the dark. There was no reason he should have been able to bring this woman back from the brink when so many better candidates died on this very same table. When the experiments were done, this red-haired woman lying before him looked the part. Strong metal casing akin to Kai's with circuitry that potentially made her a killing machine. He replaced any missing or damaged parts with new ones, and made it so that when this woman finally woke up, she wouldn't even realize it was her same body. Well, that would be for more reasons than the obvious. Kai was programmed in a way that the Galaxy Federation could alter and remove his memories, a key factor that Dr. Cowan left out of Cynthia's creation, but a pivotal part of Matthias's plans. Since he was using criminals for the most part, he wanted a clean slate, but he also wanted to manipulate his creation into only obeying and following him. When Matthias was done putting this woman back together, she was stable, he monitored her closely. Unfortunately, she didn't wake up. She had fallen into a coma, but this was the closest Matthias had come to replicating Dr. Cowan's success, and he wasn't going to just rule it a wasted effort. Though information on Cynthia was scarce, because Dr. Cowan wanted it that way, information on Kai's creation was accessible through some hacking of the Galaxy Federation's database. A task Matthias had a guy for. That's a great line. A task Matthias had a guy for. Matthias knew that Kai's body was found frozen on a cargo ship, so it gave him the idea to freeze this woman temporarily in hopes that he could revisit and fix the project as he learned more. He sealed the woman away in a red container and labeled it Ruby. Months had passed and Matthias continued to run his experiments on the criminals brought to him, but despite following the same steps and routines, nothing seemed to work. Death after death, failure after failure, Matthias grew more and more furious with the lack of results. Many times he would just stand in front of the container holding Ruby, wondering what he did differently. Did he forget a step he made in his panic state while trying not to lose Ruby in the first place? For the next few days, specimens would not come, and he took this time to revisit any files and information he had on Dr. Cowan's work. While it may seem to have always been the case, this brief period with no experiments caused Matthias's obsession to become borderline psychotic. He would forget to eat, forget to sleep, reread Dr. Cowan's notes multiple times a day, analyze his own notes for Ruby, and then go back through all his notes for every failed experiment over and over again. Matthias was often surrounded by computer screens and papers full of information that he would read over and consume as if the wording would change and inspiration would finally strike him. Matthias woke up one day, his face on a notebook, a pen in his hand. He groggily looked up at the screens around him. It felt as if they were mocking him and his failures. Just prior to waking he dreamt of Ruby alive and well and out of her container. He dreamt his experiments had finally worked, and that he figured out how to revive her properly. Matthias leaned back in his chair, looking up at the ceiling. No, beyond that, looking into the heavens, as if some divine intervention would help him solve his struggles. Once he lowered his head, that's when he noticed Ruby's container was open. She was frozen in there, unable to move. How could she get herself out? It was impossible. Someone had to release her, but Matthias had security protocols in place to alert him if such thievery occurred. He scrambled to his feet and rushed to the container to check for signs of struggle, but saw none. Suddenly, he heard a noise nearby. It seemed as if it came from the bathroom. As he slowly approached, that's when he saw her, his beautiful creation. She wasn't inside the bathroom, but instead closer to a similar container to the one she was held in. She could see her full body reflected in the glass. Matthias cautiously approached her. Ruby? He noticed her seeing him in the same reflection she saw herself. I have waited a long time for this moment, he added. Ruby turned around to face him. Seeing her left Matthias in awe of his own work. He could tell the machinery he put into her eyes was trying to analyze him, but he could also tell it might not have been working as intended. She finally spoke after it seemingly failed her. Are you the Starlight Samurai? Matthias looked at her confused. No. I am a human scientist named Matthias. If you remember my programming for Kai, then you should know me. Matthias could see a bit of a snarl form on Ruby's face that was quickly replaced by disappointment. She slowly walked over to Matthias, but the scientist couldn't move. It was as if he was frozen in both fear and excitement. Ruby cupped his cheeks with her cold metal hands. You are the failed scientist that made me this monster. Matthias nervously laughed as best he could as Ruby's hands got tighter on his face. No, I'm the one who saved you. The word saved in particular seemed to irritate Ruby. The Starlight Samurai was meant to save the galaxy, yet all he does is ruin it. Matthias was nowhere near anything that could help him. He was at Ruby's mercy. You will be different. Ruby, you were made to be different. Ruby ran her hands up Matthias's face and shoved her thumbs into his eye sockets. The final words Matthias heard over his own screams were from his life's greatest work. I already am. Ruby's savage, dude. Ruby is savage. Okay. I don't remember this one being this long, but it's not bad. Not bad. We'll release it at some point. Yeah, so like Kai is kind of like programmed and forced to do bad things, but low key he's like nice and misunderstood, even though he's done some terrible things out of his own control. Sometimes. Cynthia is meant to be like everything Kai was supposed to be, where she's like the actual like hero and saving planets, not destroying them. And then Ruby is just like pure evil. So Ruby is kind of she's designed to be an opponent for Kai, but also more of an opponent for Cynthia, because like Cynthia is like pure good and Ruby is pure evil, so they would be more likely to butt heads. Plus, Dr. Callan wouldn't know about Ruby's existence yet, so it's more likely that she would send Cynthia to a planet that Ruby's already on, and vice versa, than Cynthia would end up on a planet with Kai, if that makes sense. I want more. I could do more cyborg stuff. I had like so many plans for these characters. I don't. When I was looking through the outline, there should be an outline where I named all of them, I thought. But where was that? Hold on. Let me swap scenes real quick. And then we'll read Jake's start to the Venzer stuff, and then we'll probably call it there. I need to go to sleep a little early in case I want to stream really late tomorrow. Because if Rebirth goes live at midnight, there's a good chance I'll be streaming for longer than normal. Let me see the original outline. I can't remember if there was more than them. So he's the Starlight Samurai. Cynthia's the Gemlight Paladin. Ruby is the Ruby Light Reaver. I'm getting sleepy, but hang in there. Yeah, we're almost done. I don't know how long the thing Jake wrote is, but we're almost there. Don't worry. I'm just skimming this really quick. Let me just search for light. Maybe it's not in this though. My original outline for this is like kind of different from what we did. A little less than 3 pages. Okay, so it's like a little longer than most of the stuff we've been reading, but not that much longer. But not too bad. Starlight Samurai. Starlight Samurai. Yeah, her actual name is Cinci, like Cinci. So I eventually will be calling her that. But her full thing, like how he's Kai, the Starlight Samurai, she is Cinci, the Gemlight Paladin. But I might just leave it as Cynthia. I don't know. We'll see. And then Ruby is just Ruby, obviously. But she's the Ruby Light Reaver. Yeah. I even have it here. This was supposed to be number 55. If I continued to number them and I continued with season 2, this was supposed to be the 5th one that came out. She is number 55, Ruby Light Reaver Built for War, which is what I ended up naming this one too. It was supposed to release on November of 2021. That obviously didn't happen. It just says another Light Saga character. Unlike Kai and Cinci, she's just called Ruby or Reaver, no real name. Also built like the others, but she's built more for pure destruction, intentionally, unlike Kai, who does it accidentally. That's interesting. Something different. Do you like that spelling? Like Cinci? Tell me it doesn't release at midnight, Kitty. Are you gonna like break my soul? I did the pre-download already. I did that today. February 29th, 0000. That should be midnight Eastern. My time. Wednesday into Thursday. So we should be able to play at midnight. And I've already pre-downloaded, so we're good to go there. Where was I? Yeah, I think those were the only 3, but I wanted there to be more of them. Like, I wanted there to be a whole bunch of them, because it's just a bunch of people, like, trying to replicate Dr. Cowan's experiments and create their own cyborgs. But I mean, I think 3 is, like, good enough for now. Maybe we'll add more later. Don't also just want, like, a bunch, because then it, like, ruins, like, It ruins the, it doesn't feel special anymore. Okay, let me open Jake's thing. Okay, let's read it. Do you guys want me to read or want to listen to the other one, or should I just read this one? Like, I mean, I know what happens in the one, the fantasy distraction number 24, obviously. It's up to you guys if you want that. I don't know how much Jake references the other one. It looks like a lot just from my quick skim. I mean, I guess we could just listen to it. Is the video long? Let's see. It is 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Like as good as Jake's reading is, it'd probably be quicker for me to read it. If you guys are wanting to go to sleep. If you have 7 minutes and 45 seconds plus however long it takes me to read the next part, then it's better to listen to it, obviously. I'll just put it on. We could have been like 4 minutes in. We could have been like 4 minutes in if I wasn't yapping. Okay. Let me set this up. Okay. I'm gonna mute myself and turn the. Maybe I should finish talking before muting myself. Just a thought. Pro streamer, PT dubs. Alright, be right back.
There are many mysteries all over Fenrir. The battle atop Sha'ir between Lord Kazai and King Ingvar. Eliana, the beauty of Vesuva and where she went. And speaking of missing persons, the gods have all vanished. Of course, these are well-known stories that have traveled far and wide across the world by word of mouth. But there's only one mystery that I can speak of because it involves the town in which I live. Just outside the bog is a small town that remains relatively untouched by much. This town is called Venser, and I was born and raised here. About 2 months ago, an evil creature that I can only really describe as a demon made its way from the Deadlands, through the bog, into our small town. It introduced itself to us as our new master, and asked if any of us had an issue with this. One brave soul spoke up, and with a simple flick of its wrist, cut our man down. It grew deathly quiet, and a smirk crossed over the demon's face. With no complaints from anyone anymore, he demanded we start gathering resources. Every week he would return and demand sacrifice from us. For 2 months we piled food and riches at his feet, every week. And those who failed to provide were taken into the bog and never heard from again. I had a rather easy job. I provided grain, which we had plenty of. Stockpiling for the winter allowed an easy cushion to fall on if I ever was short on my sacrifice. The town was quick to fall into seclusion. We prayed day in and day out, Even those who believed the gods were gone for good had begun to pray, hoping that someone would hear our calls. A town that used to be quiet and happy was now forced into squalor and slave labor for a false god drunk on his own power. Each and every day, I looked to the sky, examining the clouds and wondering if he was going to bleed us dry and move on to the next city. Lord Kazai had no jurisdiction here, and I envied the protection he gave to his people. King Ingvar was in the same boat, and despite how cruel of a man he could be, I would take his cruelty over the hope-sucking horror that now owned our town. I had grown so desperate that I even began praying to King Ingvar. For maybe, as a man who announced himself as a god, would by small chance hear my call and come save us from this hell. And some went as far as to pray to Aradia, the ruler of the south, to come and free us. Someone must have gotten through to a god I have never heard of, though. I remember the day clearly, the day that Venzer was given hope. 2 people showed up only a day after the demon had come for our resources. I can't even say for sure if they were both people, if I'm being honest. The one who appeared to be a man wore clothes the like of which I had never seen before and introduced himself to us as Aaron. The one who followed wore clothes that covered every inch of their body and a face mask which had eyes that glowed an eerie and ghostly green. That one was called Crow. I've heard that there's been an evil demon attacking this village every week. Tell me what you know, Aaron said frankly. The few of us who had met him in the tavern flinched. It was always a fear of ours that it was listening to everything we said. Perhaps it would swoop in and tear the hope right out of us by killing these 2 right here and now. But seeing the one called Crow inspired me. If Crow wasn't human, perhaps they could take care of the beast for us. I spoke up. Yesterday, he came to us, took our grain, our meat. Those who can't afford the weekly sacrifice disappear, and those who attempt to fight are killed with ease, I explained in a panic. My heart was beating out of my chest. Every word I said felt like it could be my last. But if it meant freeing my village, I would gladly die. And even if it didn't, my death would liberate me at the very least. Aaron looked me hard in the eyes and beckoned for me to approach him with a movement of his finger. Cautiously, I approached, and he placed a hand on my head. I felt a surge of energy flow through my body, and I tensed, unable to move. My body had frozen, but only a moment later, the feeling vanished and I was able to move once more. Aaron took his hand away and examined it for a moment. "Did you get that?" he asked, now removing his other hand from his friend Crow.
"Yeah, I'll get right on it,"
Crow responded. Its voice jumbled as if many people were speaking at once. The sound made my skin crawl. "You all relax. Tonight, things will be dealt with," Aaron said. As he stood with Crow to leave, I reached out and grabbed hold of Aaron's shoulder, shaking and sweating. "Tonight? Are you crazy?" I questioned him. Aaron simply gave me a warm smile and gently removed my hand from his shoulder. I felt rather calm from the action. "Don't you worry. We're professionals," he told me, nodding his head at me in reassurance and stepping outside. As worried as I was for them, I felt completely confident in their abilities as well. That night, I went to bed, wondering if today would be my last. If they failed, would the demon come to us and destroy us next? It was a miracle I even got any sleep at all. But the next day I woke and everything was as it always had been. People were shut up in their homes or drinking their sorrows away. The demon, Aaron, and Crow were nowhere to be seen. I feared the worst had happened and they had failed. But as the week reached its end, and we all came to the city square with our sacrifices, the demon did not show up. We waited for hours and hours, wondering if he was testing our resolve. But as the sun began to set, a revelation set on our village. Aaron and his friend Crow had freed us from our captor. Venzer was free at last, and our heroes were never seen again.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's so much better than me just reading it. So I'm happy that you guys were down to listen to it because Jake is insane. If I could have him read everything, I would, but I try not to drive him too crazy. Yeah, so amazing. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I picked out the music for that. I don't remember picking. I don't even remember it having music, to be honest. Forgot about the voice for Crow, to be honest. It gave me a little jump scare, but that's the whole point, I think. Yeah, it's very easy to get like really into the story when Jake is narrating. I mean, I bring up the Kazai one all the time. I love the Kazai one, the short. I mean, both of the Kazai ones are good, but the short especially. Especially. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty up and crazy, bro. Anyway. Do you want to come read this one then? Because now I feel like if I read this one, it's like I remember. What is the exact line? I remember I wrote it too. It's not even like you wrote that one. I wrote that one. I can't remember. I've written so many of these, so it's hard for me. I remember the cold dampness of a pitch black cell activated my camera by scratching my shoulder. I can if you want. Yeah. Come Discord. Come Discord with me. Then after you read this, I'm going to sleep. Because I have to stream for 1,000,000 D hours tomorrow. I'll just call you. You know what? Call me, because I don't know how to Discord. I'm old. Huh?
Call me, I don't know how to Discord, I'm old.
I am. I'm ancient.
Ancient. Okay. Okay, fella.
This is good because I've been reading for like 4 hours. So you reading for me, I'll take that.
Yeah, fair enough.
We take those.
Yeah, I'll just come in. You play games, and I'll just talk to your stream.
Yeah,
you don't have to do anything.
That works.
Keep the camera on. I'll talk.
We could split this up.
Oh yeah.
Less talking I gotta do, the better.
Fair enough.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself if you want to read it.
Okay.
You just tell
hi.
me. Okay.
Hi, Mistral. Hi, Kitty. I just wanted to say hi first, but yeah. So this is the first episode of the miniseries. It's called Venzer on the Edge.
I'm sorry. Before you start, are you okay with me just putting it on the screen while you read?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You do whatever, It's your stream, man. Professional streamer alert,
I am the proest of pro streamers, okay?
Ludwig would be quaking in his boots.
Probably already is, low key. He's like he's probably the one keeping me down.
Probably.
All right.
I do hop into his stream sometimes, and he's just like, PSA, fuck Valstorm.
Don't follow this guy. Don't lurk at his
Don't follow this guy.
What?
All right. Are we ready? I'll take that as a yes. I'm not even gonna wait. Okay. Give me a second. My headphones are dying. All right. Well, I guess it's a good thing I asked if we were ready. I'll wait for Mistral to say we're good, and then we can go.
That was a good thing that you asked.
Yeah.
Probably because of the delay, she was probably saying that at the same time that you were like, "Is everybody ready?"
Yeah. Hopefully it was just like a massive coincidence, and I have like a sixth sense for dying headphones. Okay, I'm here now. Awesome. All right. Many people worship gods on Fenrir, even if we haven't heard from or seen them in years. In fact, they've been gone so long that no one I know who's alive today has ever seen one of the gods for themselves. Living in Obsidian, however, meant that there were plenty who were bending the knee to King Ingvar, as well as bowing their heads in prayer to the self-proclaimed god of our lands. I never fancied praying to a man. It simply didn't feel right. Does he hear the prayers of all those who call out to him? I doubt he even knows how many do. For a long time, I was content with moving on with the gods. They up and left, abandoned us some time ago, and left Fenrir to fend for itself. Prayer had become more and more of a rare occurrence in my day-to-day life until I was finally going about my usual daily routine and hadn't even realized just how little I was speaking to the gods at all. But I wasn't opposed to the gods outright. I think that everyone who had faith in the gods of old still holds on to some of that. If those gods came back, they'd welcome it. Perhaps I'm projecting. But I like to think I'm one of the common everyday types. Noting all of this, when I make my morning commute to work, there are often preachers in the streets, spreading the common knowledge of King Ingvar. It isn't unusual for me to walk past some freak in a robe screaming at the top of his lungs about, "Our protector has set forth on a journey to free all the lands. If the gods come back, they'll have God King Ingvar to contend with," or some other nonsense like that. However, when it isn't the king's name that's being uttered, my attention is pulled to the new preaching. Venser was freed, given hope and salvation by new gods of this world. Aaron and Crow, the gods of protection and purity. Your God King asks you to forget about Enror. He asks you to follow him because you've seen him with your own eyes. You witnessed the war he fights for all of you. If that's the case, then hear this. I have seen Aaron and Crow firsthand, spoken directly to them. I was freed from slavery and torment by them. Venser? Aaron and Crow? This new preacher in the street was playing with fire by asking the citizens of Obsidian to consider another for worship. I honestly thought he had a death wish. I'd never even heard of this Venser that he spoke of. Every part of my body told me to keep moving forward. Ignore the man and let the guards deal with him once enough of Ingvar's loyal followers complained. But I found myself drawn to him. A new god? 2 of them, in fact, that protected him in his home. He'd seen them with his own eyes. Maybe this was a fluke. Who else but Kazai and Ingvar made people question if they were divine? I felt a piling sense of dread that was almost overwhelming as I approached this man. Where is Venser? And what was it saved from? I questioned in a more challenging tone. I don't even know why I approached it so aggressively. Perhaps I was giving in to the looming sense of despair that had suddenly washed over me. But my curiosity was piqued. Ah, a listener. My friend Venzer is a small town to the south, right at the edge of the bog. We live dangerously close to the domain of the witch goddess, but with Aaron and Crow watching over us, we have nothing to fear, he proclaimed with the blind faith of a child. Venzer was once enslaved by a demon from the Deadlands. He demanded sacrifice from us. Our resources, gold, even our lives were all his to take at any time. Months of draining us all we had left Venzer on the verge of despair. A demon from the Deadlands. No wonder I felt this guy was crazy. With what he was spewing, I was starting to disbelieve. How'd you manage to live through this? I quizzed. If this was true, he would have a solid story. Correct? I was one of the unlucky few who had simple jobs in Venzer. I stockpiled grain from our fields for the winter. If I ever did not have enough, I could always pull from our backstock, he explained. Who are they? Aaron and Crow, I finally asked. He gave me a smile, one that haunted my very core, an eager grin, but one teeming with madness. Saviors! Gods of protection! Slayers of demons and beasts! He cried, his voice raising as if shouting to the heavens above. But a sudden calmness washed over him. They have sent a disciple to Venzer, one who has much more information and knowledge on Aaron and Crow than I. She is a divine being like them, though seemingly just a messenger. I stared in disbelief. A messenger. Not even Ingvar had a messenger of any kind. All the people who knew anything more about the man were often tailing him. Those who could be considered a disciple, someone like Dita, were with him at all times, unconcerned with spreading anything new to the people. But Aaron and Crow had a messenger. I found myself enamored suddenly with the thought. A new pair of gods seemed too good to be true, yet here I was, willing to open my heart and soul and give in. I had a desire to pray, a desire to meet this messenger and learn everything I could about these two new gods. It felt crazy to even consider that it was possible, but hadn't I been thinking about how I would accept the gods if they returned? As my mind raced with the possibility, the preacher reached out and placed a gentle hand on me. Although I imagine it was meant to comfort me, I felt the exact opposite. Satiate your curiosity, friend. Travel to Venzer and see for yourself, he said, his voice suddenly calm once more. I swallowed hard before quickly pushing past him to head to work. My day was filled with unease, and I couldn't get their names out of my mind. Aaron and Crow. Protectors. Gods. Finally, I swallowed my fear and made the effort to leave Obsidian. The trek was long and arduous. Pretty early on in the journey, I debated how stupid of a trip this was and almost turned back, but the curiosity coursing through my veins was too much to handle. I had to see this place for myself. I had to speak to this messenger. I wanted so badly to believe. As I saw Venzer on the horizon, I felt an odd wash of relief and dread wash over me. I need to get rid of one of those washes. The bog was so clear to see. Not even a day's travel and you'd reach the border of safety. I had paused in my footsteps, gazing absently at the small town, if you could even call it that. It felt more like a village. The town itself was eerily quiet. There were stalls and merchants on either side of the trodden road. No one called for me to browse their wares. They simply watched me, with a smile on their face, one slightly obscured by the hood each individual wore. It seemed like hiding your face was commonplace in this town. I didn't think the dread could get any worse, yet here I was. I felt like a sheep in a wolf pack, walking eagerly to the alpha who was watching me approach, sharpening its claws as it prepared for the feast. I saw no one who I could safely say was a traveler. Everyone I passed wore a hood of sorts, all of them watching me with smiles on their faces as I stepped further into the unassuming town. I was an outsider, and it was blatantly obvious that I was. Despite the outfit I had on, fit for colder weather, I felt a wildly uncomfortable feeling of being naked. I wanted to cover up even more than I already was. I wanted to turn around and go home. What a fool I was to come here. This was no god. These people were a cult. They had to be. I was just the poor sap who decided I was curious enough to believe in the rantings of a lunatic, and it was the last mistake I'd ever make. How frustratingly daft of me. I figured I may as well keep walking right through the town into the Deadlands just to prove that my stupidity had no bounds. But as I entered the town square, I felt a strange calmness wash over me. It was unnatural just how quickly I felt soothed and comfortable. Directly in the center of this town was a statue standing tall, showing off an image of some sort of decisive victory carried out by two individuals. One was seemingly just a man, wearing strange attire that I'd never seen before. The other, I don't even know how to describe. They looked like nothing this world had ever seen, but it stood atop a demon, slain, presumably, by the two above it. I felt at ease looking at this scene. Sitting at the base of this statue was a robed figure, one who was fully dressed in black. I couldn't see their face at all. Within the hood was a black void that looked as if you could fall in and never stop falling. They shifted, and I could only assume it was shifting its gaze to look at me, if it even had a gaze. As I stared into the black swirl of nothingness, I wanted to run away. Yet I still felt calm, comfortable, and fully at ease. It reached an arm up, and a skeletal hand appeared from the sleeve of its robe. A woman's voice spoke softly to me through the darkness. "Welcome to Venser, friend. Are you here to learn about the protectors of our quaint home?"
Amazing.
Thanks, man.
Amazing. Yeah, I was it's a really good start. I know you're planning to do like a couple of them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know how many. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely a good start. I mean, I like it. See the chat, but I have to use the bathroom real quick though because I've been drinking like water nonstop.
No, you're good. You're good.
So give me 1 second. You could talk to chat, get their feedback.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't paying attention to where people said what line were you speaking of? Thank you. What great line. Ah! Not an odd wash, an odd sense of relief and dread wash over me. It's a good thing I got a chance to read it out loud before I recorded it. Was it the wolf one? He was like a sheep in a wolf pack walking eagerly to the alpha who was watching me approach, sharpening its claws as it prepared for the feast. Because I when I wrote that one, I was like, yeah, that's good. That's some good shit. That is a good. Thank you. The line I loved was the sheep. Yeah, sheep to the slaughter. Cool. The whole entire goal I had with this was just creating this sense of unease. Like I wanted it to be like almost this roller coaster, but it's from this point of view of someone who's like who desperately wants to believe that the gods are still there. You know? And so this just potential for a new god that exists to be there. He's like, yes, I want it, but the people that are telling it to him, and when he gets there, he's like, this is not great. This can't be it, right? That feeling of falling, yeah. It's always interesting trying to describe like just how dark something is, you know? but with like a void. Like there's a void in this person's hood that you could just fall into and never stop. It's like that. I feel like that portrays it really well. It's like this infinite space that shouldn't be there.
I'm back, by the way, obviously.
Welcome
But
back.
yeah, I was actually just gonna mention that like the character descriptions are so good at telling you what character it is without telling you what character it is. You know, like
Right
the character that's the same from the original story describe
at
like
the beginning.
his
Mhm.
occupation is described the same way in both. You know, so
Yeah.
it's like having listened to them back to back helped, but like you know, if you listen to that story, you're like, oh, this is the same guy because that was his
Yeah.
occupation
hmm
in that one. And then the same with the description of the daughter, which is what you were talking about there. But she's
Yeah.
described the
Yeah.
same way in the Halloween special. So
Yeah. I I really wanted to create that sense of like familiarity because I feel like at that point it's that case of kind of dramatic irony where the reader knows more, or
right,
like the audience member will know more.
right,
And so immediately as well, hearing that like one of the daughters is there, if you know the story of the daughters, should increase that sense of dread even more
right.
because it's like that's not okay.
Yeah, that's wait a second. This isn't as safe as they
So
think it's gonna be.
right, yeah. Well, and that's I kind of want to. I think with the next story, I want to entirely go into it by continuing this like false sense of security of like someone being like, maybe this isn't the daughter, maybe it's some crazy coincidence, and like it's like too good to be true kind of thing,
Yeah,
where these characters like this guy is just learning and hearing a bunch of stuff, and as he stays in this town, it's like it's still uncomfortable, but maybe just because I'm an outsider, not because these people are weird. It's just I don't fit in here. I don't know yet. So I want there to be that diffusion and that question of like, maybe this is as good as it sounds.
I love the idea of him like being an obsidian, like the obsidian side, uh,
hmm
when like the story like opens because obsidian's weird because it's like it's very like now that Ingvar is running things, it's very like anti gods and goddesses, even though they refer to him
Right.
as the God King, which is also ironic. But
hmm
the only temple of any kind that I've talked about in the stories is in Obsidian. So I like the idea of there being all these like potentially false prophets still kind of like lingering around in Obsidian. You
Right.
know, because of the temple and stuff like that. So
hmm
it's very
See, in my
interesting.
head too, Obsidian was just like of all the places to put someone who is like I feel like I mean I hope I got it across, but the guy wants to be faithful. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it's that feeling of if the gods were here, I would accept them with open arms.
Right. Yeah.
And so to live in the city where the guy who called himself a god is, to me, was a great kind of juxtaposition of like, I want to be faithful, but he's just a guy. Like he's just a
Yeah.
guy, you know?
He's just a dude and
He's
he hates the gods and goddesses,
yeah,
but
he hates them. But there are people out here who have just decided I'm gonna gain favor with Ingvar and go
yeah.
preach about how great he is, you know? So it's like there are just going to be people talking about Ingvar all the time, not only because he's proclaimed himself as a god, but because of his importance to the world. Of course, people are going to talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
So,
And I also like the fact that like even the soldiers that don't consider him like a god, you know, they'll still call him the God King, but I like the idea of like they when they talk about him, it's almost like preaching because they're just
right.
always talking about him. So it's like it's still like even the
Mm-hmm.
people that are not just straight up like looking at him as a god are still like preaching about him like he is one. And I
Right,
always
because
thought
how
that
else
was
do you
like
talk about him?
yeah, like I just thought it was like a funny uh way to just look at that character all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's on this pedestal that makes him godlike to these people,
Right.
even if they're not looking at him as a god, like an actual god.
I do want to point out another line that I thought was really good. I figured I may as well keep walking right through the town into the Deadlands just to prove that my stupidity
Yeah.
had no bounds. I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. I like the idea of him like entering the town and seeing all the people like with their faces covered and stuff and not getting it until he's like in the center of the town. And then he just like kind
Right.
of understands why.
It's like, here's this guy who I don't know how to describe that has no face. And here's this messenger who also has no face. What? Okay. All right. I guess that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. There's that.
Yeah. Thank you for reading it. So I did not have to read again. Plus I would not have
Good dog.
read it the way you read it. So
Completely fine.
appreciate it.
I'll have to show this to Sass and be like, hey, I have one line for you.
Yeah.
What do you think of this? Thank you, Mistral. I'm glad you think so. I'm a big fan of the subtle discomfort and just psychological horror kind of stuff. So I want this story to have just such a dark ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're still that's not how it like ends. You said you were still working on it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm still working on a couple episodes. I don't know how many it'll be. I don't want to try and be like, I'm doing 5 episodes and then be like, I am out of things to write about after 3.
Yeah, that's my approach too. Like I went 5 on the Dry Trek Arena stuff just because I had it outlined. But
Right.
like I outlined 5 for like the next part of that too. But I told myself like the same thing. Like if it doesn't feel like it's intentional, I just activated my camera by doing those. If I don't feel like it's like intentionally going anywhere and I want to wrap it up before that, I will.
Yeah. I think 3 episodes will probably be a good thing for me to shoot for.
Yeah.
Just because I can do the initial kind of compounding dread, the slight diffusion, and then just the climactic, like horrific realization. And that would probably be perfect.
Yeah, it's harder with those like darker stories because you know like they thrive so much on like the twists and the cliffhangery stuff. That like if you have 5 episodes with twists and cliffhangers, it's like it kind of kills the twist.
Yeah.
And the cliffhanger.
Fair, but hopefully people liked the first story enough to just be like, wonder how Benzer's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not good.
It's not going great. It's not going great.
I'm gonna be frank, guys. we're not doing so hot. This is not very cash money right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you were in the beginning of the stream, but yeah, I'm taking like all of March off. So
completely
when I
fair.
come back in April or mid-April or whatever, I'll do like start the mini series stuff. So
fair enough.
Plenty of time.
Give me plenty of time to write more. Yeah.
I want to release for it, so you know, I'll be releasing miniseries and stuff. And then whenever you're ready, like no rush, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll drop that somewhere.
Fair. Sounds good. I'll put my heart and soul into it.
Yeah, I know you will.
Might cry a little. No, I probably won't cry. I'll be just sitting here mortified at what my brain came up with.
Yeah.
And it's like I might be a bad person, you know.
Hopefully our channel starts getting more views so you can know that you gave a lot of people goosebumps and you know, scared them a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully. That's the
okay,
goal.
Mistral. Yeah, I'm gonna miss you too. I'm sorry that I'm streaming 7 Rebirths for like an entire month and you don't want to get spoiled, so I totally understand.
Well, Mistral, if I stream at all anytime soon, you're more than welcome to come and talk to me.
You usually stream on Monday nights still?
Maybe.
I mean, there's no schedule, but like if you
there
are
is no
stream,
schedule.
If you are to,
I stream, it's because I feel like it. Like that day, I was like, yeah, I'll stream today.
Yeah. Okay.
So
fair enough.
We'll see. I don't even know what I would stream right now. I've been playing a lot of GTA RP, but that's only so interesting. I did have a full 20-minute rant about oranges yesterday, though. So I guess if
Sometimes
that's
you
what
just
you're
gotta
into.
rant about oranges.
No, man, it was bad, man. At one point in the rant, I just was like, "Am I insane? I think I might be a crazy person." Because no one should be that passionate about it.
You're on the side of like you enjoy oranges.
It wasn't even that. That's not how it started. It started from something so stupid. It started from Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay.
I've
Fair
been
enough.
playing Shadows of Valentia, right?
Mhm.
And within the continent, the southern continent of Zofia, there's a shitload of orange trees.
Have a good night,
And there's
Mistral.
Have a good night, Mistral. There's Valencia oranges, right?
Mhm.
So it was like Valentia is the kind of the name of the two countries combined.
Okay.
And there's a buttload of oranges in the southern part of it.
Mhm.
Those have to be Valencian oranges, right? Like it's not a coincidence that it's Valentia and there's a lot of oranges that are probably Valencia oranges. And then I just went off for like 20 minutes.
It seems like a solid reason to go crazy. Why are my alerts not working again? That's the real question. I know how to fix this
I
now.
don't know.
Oh, these sound alerts, bro. When is that applause from? It just played an applause. From when?
From right after you listened to Crow.
Oh, maybe. Did one not go off?
There was one earlier from right after that played.
Hmm.
But I don't know if it actually played. Not gonna lie.
I don't know either.
Brain was too busy judging myself in my writing and my narration.
You did great.
Whatever.
I'm the same way. I think everything I write and record is trash.
Nah, that's fair. I'm pretty proud of that. And his
name is John C.
Thank you, Luna, for
Wow.
deafening me. Kitty played one for you. Did that one not go off then, maybe? Alright, I'm ready to go to sleep.
Alright, have a good night.
Thank you for coming on and
yeah.
sharing that, reading it. Appreciate you.
Of course. Appreciate you too, man.
My man. Definitely send me any updates. I'm gonna be dead to the world. I mean, I'll be streaming, but I'll be dead to the world for the next month playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So
understandable, dog.
Yeah, just send me DMs or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll be spending time.
PMs instead.
All right, that works too.
Yeah.
I'll be spending the month with Tifa. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, Yuffie's kind of, I feel, underrated.
Yuffie's pretty great. She's grown on me a lot. I used to use her a lot in the original too, though.
Look, I just think that everyone's like, "Oh, Tifa, she's so great. Ooh, Aerith," and it's like y'all are sleeping on Yuffie. Underappreciated. Needs more love.
I didn't hear anything from the Genshin people yet. Let me double check the website real quick. Yeah, Yuffie's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go because I know that if I stay in this call, you are not gonna sleep for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, it'll be bad. It's already 3:30, so I need to not go to sleep
this
at
is
6:30.
me saluting you all. Thanks for having me on the stream.
Thanks for coming on.
Why did you do that like I could see you?
I need to do the thing. I'm an actor. Go tell Ludwig, fuck off. Quit keeping Val down.
Seriously, come on, Ludwig.
Come on, Ludwig. Come on, man.
Help me out.
I'm a fan. Anyway, see you guys.
All right. Bye-bye. doesn't have the same effect as, because I have streamer mode on. It doesn't have the same effect to me as when the Discord noise goes off when he leaves a call like that. All right, I'm trying to check Genshin. Still has not updated. It says, okay, this is also very confusing to me. It says I have 13 hours left to complete the campaign. I don't know if you guys remember, I was afraid I was going to run out of time Monday night. So how do I still have 13 hours left? It should have been over already. I don't know. Once the campaign like officially ends, I have a window of time before they send me the money to like clarify and make sure everything's right. So once the campaign like officially ends, I'm going to contact them again. Yeah, maybe it did. Maybe they gave me an extension because I was having issues or something, but I mean, it's still not showing anything other than those 2 that counted that were from Akatsu. So who knows? I'll contact them, but I'll be like, come on. I got Luna addicted to your game. Like, that should be some extra dough. I'm just saying. Luna's addiction should be my benefit. All right? I've completed the sponsorship correctly. All right. I'm going to sleep. I will be streaming a lot. A lot. It's going to follow me now, isn't it? Yes. I'll be streaming a lot in March. Okay? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm going to try, like, honestly, any time I can get free time. It's a little hard for me, which is why I stream at this time to begin with. But anytime I could sneak away to stream, I will be streaming. So over the next couple of days. I mean, we can't start streaming it until midnight tomorrow into, you know, Wednesday into Thursday. So I can't stream before then. But after that, I'll be streaming a lot. Okay? So you'll probably be sick of seeing my face, even though you won't actually be able to see my face unless I switch to this camera because I don't want to stream the back of my head. So you guys actually won't see my face, but you'll be sick of me soon. And that's it. Yeah, I'm just gonna be playing 7 Rebirth. We're gonna beat it. I want to get all the trophies. I want to do all the side quests. We're gonna destroy that game. I gotta charge things. My mic is charging right now, so it should definitely be charged by then. The issue is I need to remember to keep my phone charged. Depending on how long we stream, I also think it might be possible that the little mic that I attached to my shirt is gonna die if we do like really long streams, because I don't know how much battery life it has or charge, whatever it's called. So if that happens, we might be streaming sometimes without me able to talk outside of in Twitch chat. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's going to be a mess. It's probably going to be a train wreck because I'm the best streamer alive. And yeah, but thank you guys so much for hanging out. Fantasy Distractions will be taking a break until April, either early April or mid-April. I'll be streaming a lot of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I gotta be aggressive. I gotta be aggressive with my gaming YouTube channel, uploading Rebirth stuff and TikToks. I'm gonna need a lot of help clipping stuff, and I need you guys to hold me accountable with that stuff. I'll just be like, I didn't see a YouTube video about, you know, anything. You know, where's your TikTok? Get with the program, old man. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll see you guys on the tomorrow night stream. I might start at 11:30 still, even though the game doesn't go live till midnight. Or I might start closer to midnight. I'm not sure. Depends on what's going on. If I feel like I can fill the half-hour gap waiting, then I'll be live. I'm sure you're gonna do long streams. Yeah, they're gonna be really long streams. Hopefully the mic survives and I actually am able to make content from them. I don't have TikTok, that's fair. I don't blame you. I just need to try to upload some TikToks. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again to Jake for coming on and reading that for us. And just a shout out to Jake in general, because I actually played 2 videos with him in it, as well as him coming on and reading that. So a shout out to Jake in general. And that's it. All right, goodbye. 30 minutes to make sure things are set up is not a bad idea with the way my streams go.